Hey, small screen Star Wars fans, Julian here. We're back with another review and recap of Maul Shadow Lord. This time, things got pretty heated on the show, that is, not between me and Rachel, as the Inquisitors make their appearance. And it's quite good. The action's really, really great. We get into it in all that fun detail. Quick, backroom note, which is to say, I wish there was the cool Maul theme that I could play here, but Spotify said no, that's copyrighted, so I'll go back to our regular small screen Star Wars theme song for the remainder of the season. Sorry about the inconvenience there, but who knows, maybe things will be different in the future. Enjoy the show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another small screen Star Wars. As always, I'm Julian Misha. I'm joined by Rachel Wilkinson.
Hello.
And we're going to be covering this week Maul Shadow Lord, as we've been doing for the last 2 weeks. We're going to be talking about chapters 5 and 6. Chapter 5 is titled Inquisition. Chapter 6 is titled Night of the Hunted. As we suspected last week, these two episodes heavily feature Inquisitors, so we'll talk about that in full detail. And, you know, I haven't been saying this the last 2 weeks, but I should say it just in case. This is full spoilers. I don't know if anyone should be expecting anything less. What else is on the docket? I found out that unlike how they've previously done the StarWars.com, like behind the scenes, like making of kind of stuff that they do in the past. Anyway, they used to post new blog posts every week. This time, they just have one blog post and they're updating it, which is why I didn't see it last week.
Oh, I see.
So anyway, we have last week's to cover on, and then this week's we'll kind of walk through some of the inside scoop stuff. And then we'll get into a scene-by-scene breakdown of the whole thing. I do have some overall thoughts that I have captured that we'll go over as well. And we have the full roster of the Star Wars helmets that we can reveal.
Oh, you know them all now.
I knew most of them already, to be fair.
Okay.
And then Screen Crush did the rest of the homework, and so I will be borrowing their homework to reveal the ones that we didn't know. One of them I feel stupid about for not knowing, but to be fair, it is from a show that I do not think about or ever really even crosses my mind ever. So,
all right.
So there's that. Okay. Anyway. How are you?
Good. Yeah. Ready? Yeah. Okay. I liked these episodes. I liked 6 better than 7, but I think we probably all did. I mean, 7's like all action. And 6 is 7's like more. Yeah, 6 is more of like a setup for what we see in 7. So it is. There's lots of there's fun. I don't know. There's a lot of fun little things that happen throughout these things. Different characters learning.
Yeah, like so we get some
the world.
We get some things confirmed.
Yeah,
that we did that we kind of suspected before. Characters come together, so you have more characters together, and then they separate again, and they come back together.
Yeah.
It's good. Is this are these your favorite episodes so far?
Ooh, I would say so far. Like I'm a big fan of the what is it 6?
Yeah,
5 and 6. Yeah, there's a lot in 6 that I really like.
You just say the second episode, I guess.
The second episode,
that's a lot, yeah.
I don't know. It's hard for me to pick a favorite yet because I still did really like the whole like tea ceremony episode here. That
100%.
So like that one was also really fun because I don't know. It's hard. It's hard. I'm a stan for Maul, so it's gonna be hard for me to like dislike anything that he's in because I'm just a big fan of his whole aura. So.
I don't know. I'm still on the fence about it.
Really? I don't know how you are. He's so cool. I was like, I don't know. He's such a fun.
It feels like
character.
It feels like it feels like they're trying too hard usually.
You think?
With Maul. That's how that's the vibe I get. It's like
I feel like he's very he stays very his motivations are.
He never really changes.
Yeah,
also, which makes him not less interesting of a character. It'd be fair.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm just he's always. I don't know. He's very wise, and I like the way he thinks about things and like the way he The way he manipulates people.
Yeah, he's
is
like
very interesting.
He's not a like traditional like mustache twirling villain.
No,
although he sounds like one sometimes.
Yeah, he's right in the middle though. Like he doesn't like the bad guys. He's
but he's certainly not a shade of gray, right? Like
no, he's a bad guy.
Yeah,
but I mean, like, it is hard when you have a character like this because it's when you've got such a dark side character that will kill anyone. And will betray anybody, but when they are on the same side as the good guys, sometimes it's an intriguing aspect to have in this like chaotic type of character.
I feel like the only other example I could think of is like a Asajj Ventress who goes through the whole like
the arc
reclamation arc.
I mean, he also just reminds me a lot, but he's very much on the same kind of wavelength I find as Saw Gerrera.
Oh,
because like Saw's a little bit more like light side. He has some like semblance of right and wrong, but he's also just like near the end so off the deep end.
Yeah, I guess, but I think Saw at least is supposed to represent the shades of gray. Like, hey, we do bad things in the name of good, whereas Maul just does bad things for himself.
In the name of me, yeah.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, but like I said, I just feel like he could be more interesting. They didn't have to make a show about Maul.
No.
Right? Like, so it's in my estimation, like they need to justify why this has his name on it.
I guess that's true.
Right? And it can't just be like, well, because he's cool.
But why not?
Well, because he's not cool enough, I guess, for me. Anyway, that's not to say I didn't like these episodes. I did. I thought these ones were maybe the best, and we'll talk about maybe why.
I think he's just fun to write about, especially for writers. I think it's a very fun character to write stories around. So,
yeah, like he's a crime boss with superpowers. So yeah, that's pretty fun.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about some of the behind the scenes stuff.
Sure.
Let's switch over to. So this is from last week. They did the tea ceremony thing. They mentioned a specific tea, which is actually a reference to a previous Clone Wars episode, which is most things. They're always usually referencing themselves. Right. So not only after he escaped his exile on Lotho Minor, Maul was introduced to Cassius tea by Death Watch leader Pre Vizsla, who believed the tea was good for one's health. Years later, he shares the tea with Evan. So there you go. It wasn't just some random tea, which I think I said it was, and I regret that. Maul references losing his brother and his mother in the episode. His brother, Savage Opress, is killed by Palpatine in the Clone Wars Season 5 episode, The Lawless, and Mother Talzin in Darth Maul, Son of Dathomir comic, which was supposed to be a Clone Wars arc, but was turned into a comic instead. The design of the Pike species in Maul is a hybrid of their live-action look seen in the Book of Boba Fett and their original, more stylized design created for the Clone Wars. I actually prefer this hybrid look way more than either. I think the live-action look makes them look like big fish, and I think that's bad.
I didn't love the live-action look of the Pikes.
But I also didn't like their original animated look either, which looked like also silly, but in a very different way.
Yeah. I find it's hard when there's such a drastic change between the two, like between the animation style and then the live action. Like I understand why it needs to be that way, but it's also why it's really hard for me to not dislike how bulbousy the Grand Inquisitor's head looks.
Oh my god!
In live action,
that's just them cheaping out. They could have used CG. That's just them cheaping out.
I know, and I get it that like in Clone Wars. Or not in Clone Wars, in Rebels specifically, like a lot of the heads are a lot skinnier.
Oh yes, they all look very
so
oblong shaped.
But still, it does bug me. So I'm like, man, his head looks so stupid.
They didn't even try because he's not portrayed as like the same species necessarily, or like
it's weird.
Something weird. Anyway, there's a guy. Remember I telling you about this? There was a guy who was like doing edits on the Obi-Wan show.
Right,
and was going to like release it as a movie and was like changing the look, including changing the look of the head of
Grand
Inquisitor. So I don't know whatever happened to that, but I really hope that eventually we get to see it because that would be fun. Okay, number 4, the large stadium where Rylee plays Bodekin, which we called like Spaceball.
I thought you called it Shockball. I think that's what they said. They thought it was. Before,
that's what the That's what the Screen Crush people call it. And then even when they confronted with this, by the way, this week, this Bodekin name, they're like,
new sport.
Well, in the like RPG source books, that's what it was called. So they're like, we'll just stick with shockball, whatever. Anyway, it's a rare glimpse of team sports in Star Wars. It's true. We just very rarely ever see that.
Like we don't really see sports in Star Wars. It's all just like racing. It's like pod racing, animal racing.
That's true.
Like we don't really
things
see
that you can bet on typically. Although you can bet on all sports now if you believe the commercials.
It's true.
It's a scourge on society. People, the sports betting is not good for people. Anyway,
Hutball.
Other sports include Hutball, a playable. I like to think that that's like football.
Yeah.
A playable game in the Star Wars: The Old Republic video game. Gravball, originally from the Servants of the Empire series of middle grad novels, and Limmy, which first appeared in the 1994 novel The Crystal Star. So pretty big stadium for this. There's more information about Bodekin later. 5, Marg Krim, who has been the leader of the Pike Syndicate since the death of Lom Pike in the Clone Wars Season 6 episode The Lost One. The illustrious Imperator has an updated design. So yeah, he's got this like funky crown. He looks a little less silly.
He had that crown in
Did he?
Clone Wars. Yeah, he's in those episodes, the shitty episodes with the Martez sisters. He kind of has that same crown.
Oh, okay, well, fair enough. Hey, those episodes aren't that bad. It's just they're just a little bit of a detour from what we were looking for. Krim threatens to feed Vario's remains to his Nexu horde, a reference to the vicious cat-like creature made famous in the arena battle from Star Wars Attack of the Clones. Yeah, those things are pretty cool. Mm-hmm. That's the thing that slices perfully Padme's midriff off. Yeah.
Very, very,
Important. Yeah. The whisper hiss sound that often accompanies Maul's appearance in Star Wars The Phantom Menace can be heard briefly as Maul speaks to Devin. And then the game of Bodekin has some lacrosse. I'm not sure why this is separate from the others tidbit, but has some lacrosse and Jai Alai references. I don't know what that is. And although we never see the game in action, creators figured out the rules of the game for reference. This just annoys me further. If you're going to go through the effort of making the rules for the game, just show us a little bit of it. Just give us a glimpse. Not just like the tops of people's heads or whatever it is that we saw. Okay, so that's last week. Anything that was interesting there? Okay. This is for this week. So number one, and this is going to be something I mentioned right away, obviously, which is the Imperial gunship seen transporting stormtroopers, our updated Imperial iteration of the low-altitude assault transport, the LAT, employed frequently by clone troopers. LAT, my favorite. Love the way it sounds, love the way it looks. Everything about it is cool as hell. We'll talk more about it. This might be my favorite version of the LAT we've ever seen. And not because it like looks cooler, because they just stripped the paint. That's not. But
it's like they look.
It's just a little bit more detailed, and then we spend a lot of time inside it, moving around it. They do a lot of cool stuff with it, and so I'm a big fan. The conscripted TK troopers are the standard shock troopers used by the Empire at this time. They're the first drafted Imperial soldiers following the gradual retirement of the Clone Army,
right?
And a precursor to the classic Stormtrooper. So, they did a side by side on Screen Crush between the version of the TK troopers we see in Bad Batch and then the ones we see here.
Okay.
And so just in keeping in line, okay, what's different, what's new about the animation since we switched over to this show? So there's a little bit more detailing in a couple areas. So you'll notice like on the breastplate here, it's kind of like two pieces.
Oh yeah.
That is not like that at all and there's like two pieces here on the shoulder guard here as well. That's new. The weapons are more detailed, more weathering looking. We get more reflection on the visor. There's extra detailing on the visor itself, like this like extra hood section. There's like extra helmet section is there as well. It just a little bit more angular. There's literally more pieces.
To
this
it makes
animation.
Sense a little bit more for like technical functionality, right? Like when I see the little extra pieces on the arms, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense because you could
move your
arms better, and they can move their like their torsos better with more like what is it? Not segregated, segmented. Armor. Yeah.
And I think the reason that we see more of this, obviously the animation is becoming more like having higher fidelity, but we're moving away from the stylized look of the Clone Wars and Rebels. Rebels more so, to a much closer in line with live action appearances of these people. Obviously, like the live action characters especially don't necessarily have as much fidelity. They're going to continue to look animated, but with things like helmets and vehicles and weapons and armor, they can just get closer and closer to using the actual movie quality animation pieces, like the tools.
Right.
And so I'm using the wrong word. I'm blanking on assets. They can use those assets. So we're getting closer to that, and they have the ability to just swap them in a lot more easily now. And they look really, really cool. So, also this like under eye, like extra bit of like polygonal work here.
Okay,
is also new, as far as I can tell, for this version of the TK Trooper. So there you go. There's a little bit of, not great for the audio listeners, but it is what it is. We do this live, by the way, Twitch and YouTube, every week. It's been the last 2 Tuesdays. Today it's a Wednesday. It is what it is. Okay. Moving on, Lieutenant Blake can be seen looking at the Janix Civil Defense Evidence Board for the Maul case, a classic trope in a procedural police drama given a digital Star Wars spin. Yes, I didn't mention it before, but I have clocked that before, which is like, yes, this is just like the board with strings, but the digital version.
Yeah.
The Inquisitor on the scene to track down Maul is the first brother, also known as Marok. Marok was originally created by Dave Filoni for the first season of Ahsoka, in which he meets his end as a poof of smoke. He later showed up. I just think of Screen Crush again because they literally always make fun of how he just like poofs away like a fart, and then they always play a fart sound, and it's so funny. He later showed up in Star Wars Tales of the Empire episode Devoted. Maul Shadowlord spends more time with Marok, giving us a deeper look at his wraith-like nature.
So wait, do we think though, because I was under the impression that he had been reanimated.
Right, so I don't think he's dead yet.
Yeah. So I think he's probably alive here, and then somehow, I don't know, maybe
and then dies later. Maybe Maul kills him, and then he's reanimated. Then
do we think? I don't know. Okay, probably not, because I thought this up in my own brain.
Sure,
but to myself, and didn't share it with you yet. I think that he could be a Zabrak.
Oh, really? You think? Why do you think that?
Well, look how bulbous his helmet is. You could hide some horns under there. And with the Night Sister magic, like why... It's interesting that he is one of the Inquisitors that gets reanimated by, what's her name? Morgan Elsbeth, and she's a Night Sister. So it's like, did she use her spooky Night Sister magic?
I think that's a good theory as any.
But at the same time, I don't think it only works on just their species.
I think they can reanimate anyone.
Yeah, but I do. Yeah, that's true, because I think because they reanimate those whatever they're called, the remnants, not the remnants, but the Imperial,
remnant, the
night troopers or whatever.
Yeah.
But they're more they move more like zombies, and
this is like more special magic. But the only other time we see it done like so that you can come back as quote unquote normal is with I just mentioned her, Asajj Ventress.
Yeah, because I was like, she brings back
she's a Night Sister
because she's a Night Sister, so maybe it works better on their species.
Maybe. I am very open to that interpretation, and it certainly would play into like a deeper thematic connection to Maul.
It'd be kind of neat, and then that also means, because usually these Inquisitors are old Jedi, that does mean that there's like a Zabrak Jedi.
Yeah, that, or I mean, his brother wasn't a Jedi, but then he starts wielding a lightsaber, so who knows how that works?
Yeah. Who knows how that works?
Lieutenant Blake was originally named Lieutenant Tavich. His name changed during the development of this episode. Okay, I wonder why. Maybe they're saving Tavich for another something else. I do like, by the way, speaking of like fidelity of animation here, the 5 o'clock shadow that we've got going here. Say
the freckles.
And the freckles. Like he's just got more. He's just got a bit of like a skin condition.
He's very pale.
He's got it. Oh, they're all very pale.
Blonde.
They spend a lot of time. They spend a lot of time in on ships with no light, so they get very pale. He's just a little splotchy with, and I think it just gives a more detailed look, and like I love how the bushy eyebrows.
Eyebrows, yeah.
Okay. Sixth, Lawson apartment is filled with interesting props, many of which have appeared in previous animated series, including an opened but uneaten chocolate bar from the Bad Batch. Love that. A large ball that Rylee holds, originally seen in Tales of the Jedi, and a series of eating utensils first seen on Pabu in the Bad Batch. So there you go. Like a spork and a spoon. Why would you need a spork and a spoon?
I don't know.
Wouldn't
That's
the
a weird...
spork do the...
I hate, as in... I don't know if you know this, but there's a whole subgroup of people out here in the world that are very particular about what spoons and forks that they will use, and I am one of them.
Oh yeah, no, my girlfriend's like that. She's like, I can't hold that.
There's the looks of those give me the biggest ick. I couldn't use either.
Too long on the handle and too round on the head.
Both.
Yeah. That
spoon looks like a shovel. The spork is too round. There's too many.
Yeah, okay.
But everyone's like, if you're
hungry enough, you'll
forks
eat with
and
anything.
spoons, you might have a touch of the autism. So.
Yes, that's the joke. The touch of the tism.
So maybe I'm on that spectrum. But
yeah, my girlfriend makes that joke all the time. She's like, no, my autism will not allow.
No, I get
for
it.
That.
It's like, no.
A sign in the back of the casino parking garage directs visitors to the train station. I think it's funny. It's like, okay, we're just going to start calling out
anytime there's
lettering.
A sign.
Yeah. Okay. Earlier drafts of this episode had Marok called the Grand Inquisitor in the final scene, but he was removed following the second draft script. I guess at this time, maybe he could have been the Grand Inquisitor, and then that role falls to someone else later.
But doesn't that ruin the reveal?
No, because that not necessarily.
Because we don't know who he's talking to at the end. Could be either Grand Inquisitor or Vader.
Oh, sorry. Earlier drafts of this episode had Marok calling the Grand Inquisitor. Sorry, I read this as the scripts had Marok as being called the Grand Inquisitor.
No, it says it has him calling the Grand Inquisitor in the final scene.
So that means that it's not Vader. The Grand Inquisitor. Well, it doesn't necessarily mean that. I don't think it's necessarily Vader. Although it is important.
He's the one who's running the Inquisitors.
He is the one who's in charge of that program. Correct.
Yeah. But
and then so I always love Stormtrooper design facts. The Stormtrooper design nods to Ralph McQuarrie's original Star Wars concept art, continuing a style established in the Bad Batch. Quote, even though the style is a little more painterly, the Stormtroopers are the McQuarrie-inspired Stormtroopers we see in the Bad Batch. And a lot of the Imperial equipment in the pristine Clone Wars era equipment that's been stripped of color, says Supervisor Director Brad Rao. Yeah, as we noted about the LAATs, they have been stripped of color. And then we get these designs on their helmet. I like these triangular designs they have on the top of their helmet. We don't know what those mean, but it just looks cool as hell. It does look like the Ralph McQuarrie drawing, so bravo. Okay, continuing. When Devin Izzara visits Rylee Lawson at home, Riley's bedroom is littered with pennants and other sports memorabilia. Quote, you can almost smell the room, unquote. Head writer Matthew Michnovitz jokes. Yeah, I mean, he's obviously a jock boy. This scene is very funny because she's giving him a hard time, and he's super nervous and putting all his stuff away. It's
she's we've obviously had very different lives.
It's very cartoony, and I think that's fun. Okay, and last but not least, 11. The design of Maul's legs was established in Star Wars: The Clone Wars, but for Maul, Shadow Lord, the mechanical innards were crafted to show what happens when Maul's mechanical legs are damaged. Quote, it was an opportunity to design the inner workings of the pistons and the sparks and all that kind of stuff, says Rao. Important to note, he winces in pain when they're working on his robotic legs.
I noticed
which is a reference to when Luke gets his hand cut off and they're poking his hand. Yeah. And he says, ow.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's still very confusing about how that works.
If there's feeling and nerves.
Why? Yeah.
But I guess technically, functionality-wise, things would work better if you can feel them.
Yes.
So I'm okay, that does make sense that you would try to hook up your nerves and things.
And we don't know how this technology works.
No, it's Star Wars.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay, so that's a bit of a catch-up on the behind-the-scenes stuff. Okay. Let's get into the episodes in question. So before we do that, just mention that next week is Chapter 7 and 8, Call to Oblivion and The Creeping Fear. And then for May 4th, Star Wars Day will be Chapter 9 and Chapter 10. The finale doesn't have a name yet, but Chapter 9 is Strange Allies. Any guesses on Call to Oblivion and The Creeping Fear?
Man.
Call to Oblivion, this is Marok dying.
You think?
Maybe.
I don't know. I just wonder if it's the Empire going full scorched earth,
Oh, on Janix?
It's just Janix in general, or
just we can't find her, just blow up the whole planet.
Yeah, things like that. But who knows? Because I don't know. Now they know that there's Jedi there. They know that Maul's there, so there's a bit of a bigger deal.
The thing is, though,
unless the Call to Oblivion is calling in Vader.
Yeah, I was going to say that also could be that. I think the Creeping Fear could be Vader.
Yeah.
And then Strange Allies is the Jedi and Maul teaming up to fight Vader.
Yeah.
and then finale.
Because I definitely think that Maul has to encounter Vader at some point, because he doesn't in
well, they
Rebels.
do in Rebels, but then he runs away.
No, he runs off as soon as he knows Vader's there. He's like, absolutely not. I'm not fucking with that guy again, I think, because
something happens
some
here.
setup here.
Yeah, maybe. I like that idea.
Yeah, he knows that obviously Palpatine has another apprentice or whatever, but like, because he has no issue engaging with like the Inquisitors easily. No. He has no issue engaging with Marok. He's not hesitant at all. But then when it comes to Vader later on, he's like, nah.
Yeah, but that's also like 20 years from now.
That's true. He's been like Weasley and
hobbling around on his little cane
for like who knows how long. But still, I think he needs to encounter him at some point to know what he's dealing with.
I do think, generally speaking, and just kind of getting into my overall thoughts, but like the Empire is, I think in certain ways, if they knew it was just Jedi, what they would do is what they always do, which is like put innocents at risk, and then draw them out, right? Yeah. But that's not going to work to draw out Maul. And if they don't know Maul's plan, and Maul's plan seemingly this time is only about Devin, right? So if that's all they really know, then they can't go scorched earth on the innocents, because it's not going to draw out Maul, and that's their main target.
Yeah.
Because he's the big fish. The other Jedi are kind of just like collateral damage. So it changes what the tactical options available to the Empire are here. Okay, so here are my overall thoughts. So episode 5, it sets up the action at episode 6. I really feel like these episodes, not all of them feel like two parts of a 2-part arc, but this does. So obviously there is lingering elements here, but this feels like 5 and 6 really, play into each other and kind of can't be separated. There's this feeling of tragic inevitability that Star Wars has kind of mastered in the Imperial era when dealing with Jedi. Think of Order 66 as just like this creeping doom. Star Wars, Clone Wars season 7. Maul really takes a back seat here, for better or for worse. But by shifting focus to the Jedi, it basically becomes a different show for this 2-episode arc, mini arc. And I'll just skip ahead of here, but like basically anytime the Clone Wars era trappings are strongly featured, think of like the LAATs here and that type of stuff. Lucasfilm animation can't seem to help themselves from becoming the Clone Wars. Like the show just becomes the Clone Wars. The action beats, the dialogue, the set pieces, all of that take on this like soapy, pulpy feel that the Clone Wars has. And like it like completely shifts the tone. Maybe not completely, but there's a pretty big shift in tone for these 2 weeks of episodes. This was like this comes to mind explicitly because of that episode of Rebels where they like flashback and they fight, not really a flashback, but they fight a bunch of battle droids and stuff. Right. And it's like, when that stuff comes around, they just like can't, they just want to be doing Clone Wars stuff. And so it kind of, it's, I don't know, it's a part of me that looks at this stuff and I think, if that's what you wanted to do, just do that. Like, I don't, like, you don't have to like dress it up in these other ways. And this isn't the first time this has happened. Generally, anytime you can get like a guy with a gun and a guy with a lightsaber or any combination of that, it's like, oh, it's like Anakin and Rex all over again. Right. It's a lot of that. We get that in the like a lot across the different Star Wars animation projects. And I just think it feels like maybe a blind spot for the studio and gives me concern about Dave Filoni in the creative role. Oh, okay. Because I think it's like this like natural like northern star that he has that like guides him back to that same feel, and it works for Clone Wars. But in practice with Ahsoka, it didn't. That same feel did not translate into engaging television and live action. So it works here because we're still in animation. So I'm just a little concerned on that front. Anyway, did you feel that in terms of like that shift to like the Clone Wars feel?
I don't know, not necessarily. For this one, it just This episode to me felt a little more, I guess, just obviously because of the time frame, but it feels more Andor-y because it is the Empire and because they're doing their typical trope of like coming in and taking over, and then the people around that are on that planet not really realizing what that's going to look like, and you're seeing.
Yeah, that's that like impending, that like that impending fear, that creeping sense of inevitability that
where
that
it's
I think
just
they're
kind
good
of
at doing.
Where all of a sudden it's like, okay, like it's not just going to be as simple as they think it is, right? So, but it did just also give me a little bit more of like a police procedural feel.
That's true.
Episode 5, because again, it's like the FBI coming in and taking over this small precinct and like kicking everyone out, and whatever. Bullying people around.
I thought it would feel more like that, but instead it just feels like the Empire again.
Well, because it is.
Yeah,
but...
but like instead of leaning into that, like, hey, we're gonna do this more like the police procedural style way of doing it, where like there's a little bit more like back and forth and headbutting and like arguing over jurisdiction and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
this is just the Empire just steamrolling everything.
I guess because there really is no arguing, right? Like it is just steamrolling. It's like they just come in and do what they're gonna do, but. You know, you get the little bits of just like with like Two Boots not really getting it.
Oh my God, Two Boots.
Right? And he still thinks it's going to be fine. And then it's just like,
oh no, but not better than fine. He appreciates their efficiency.
Yeah.
And he likes how they share resources.
Just being a real bootlicker at Two Boots.
Yeah. Look your own boots, Two Boots, even though they're not regulation.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Yeah, I guess maybe I didn't clock like more like Clone Wars-y feel just because it is just so.
In the second episode, especially in episode 6, where
I can see
it's very action driven.
Yeah.
I mean,
we get more like Jedi versus Sith versus teaming up over a different bad guy and all that. But that was one that was a really, I don't know when we get to it.
Oh, the action is
God. I was pumped about that.
Yeah.
Train scene. Like, fuck, this is cool.
Yeah, no, it's really good.
Different kind of hallway, but
yeah, no, it's a moving hallway. The hallway's moving through the floor is moving through the hallway. I don't know. Anyway, yes, I love a train sequence of any kind.
Yeah, right.
So, here, just continuing my overall thoughts. Rylee getting a bigger role was surprising, but in a good way. I think his increased presence adds stakes, gives us the perspective of an average person.
Yeah.
If I was Rylee, I would be freaking the fuck out.
Yeah,
if I was him.
He's a kid. Like you would think that his mom would like pull him out of there, right? Like when he first calls her. Nope, she's just like
because she's all bought in hook, line, and sinker, and she's only seeing things from the perspective of Coruscant.
And then now all of a sudden it's like then she'll find out later, like, oh, actually they shot at your kid. So
and what does that mean for her? Like, does she get?
Oh, she's for sure just going to. Did she
get?
Dad,
well, no, is she going to get fired because your family is harboring Jedi and like get arrested?
Yeah. But it feels like obviously the stakes they're high with a lot of these characters because, the Jedi,
we don't know we don't know the fate of any of these people except for Maul.
So yeah, there are very high stakes with a lot of these characters.
We do know that Marok makes it out in some form, but actually he can also die because it seems like he's dead already. So
yeah. At some point he's got to die and turn into a fart. So as Screen Crush likes to say.
Yeah.
but yeah, no, so like the stakes are really high and I like having these high stakes and when you involve like a teenager and stuff too, like that is a very normal person's
but it's also a very Clone Wars thing of them to do.
Yeah, but I feel like when kids, like not kids but teens or whatever involved in Clone Wars, it's always like a Padawan or
child soldiers.
They're involved in this way. This kid is not involved. He's
just a little football boy and
dad is a cop.
He's just a lacrosse kid,
like he doesn't get involved, right? So now he's really seeing like this crazy whole new world.
We'll get to that. There's a whole that the death of Rylee's innocence is a whole thing. I don't know if it's getting enough. It probably deserves more attention. If it was Andor, we'd get a lot more attention to that. But
right.
This is a different type of show. So the addition of his mom, like the call to his mom and all that kind of stuff, it adds a lot of like a really interesting layer of intrigue. So I'm excited to see how that kind of ties together.
It is wild to have like two parents on like complete sort of like opposite ends of like the Imperial versus not, because that's
it's
not
like
something
that.
You normally
it's like
see,
that YA novel Cross Stars.
Oh, I didn't.
Is that what it's called? I think it's called Cross Stars, where there's these two star-crossed lovers, hence the name.
It makes sense.
And they like grow up on a planet, and they like each other, and then one of them goes off to the Imperial cadet to become a career, and the other one joins the rebellion, and they keep ending up at the same battles. It's all very convenient, but they keep ending up at the same battles, and then they're also there at the Death Star and all that stuff. And it's just you get both perspectives. It's like the perspective of the Imperial and the perspective of the rebellion. And they're like from the same events. And so it's you know what? As far as the YA novels are concerned from Star Wars, it's one of the better ones. I recommend it.
Yeah, I haven't actually heard of those. So.
I listened to the audiobook for that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll continue on this train, which is that the imps are incredibly menacing.
Yeah, they're not holding back.
I like. There's a moment later we'll talk about it, but when they get mind tricked and then it doesn't fully work. It doesn't work out.
Yeah.
So that's I think that's a good sign of like the show saying, no, we want our stakes to be high and we want things to feel dangerous, and I think it does.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the Jedi and anyone with a lightsaber feels more, using the word dangerous again, more dangerous than I'm used to seeing them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the tension and the stakes, the lightsaber combat feels heavy. They're cutting through things. There's this moment where Daki, I think, deflects the blaster cannons from the LAT, the LAT, and it's like, that's really freaking cool. He does this like jumping, like boom, as it goes, because it's like this much bigger sound, right, than a typical like blaster. Anyway, so that kind of stuff I feel like adds up over time to like just give it a lot more weight and danger. And just generally speaking, the show does not really do anything to help my lack of respect of authority. I have like less respect for authority every day I watch this, basically.
Yeah, makes sense. I feel like it is wild to like, as an Imperial, to, I don't know, to like just bust in and start shooting,
blowing stuff up
at a kid and his like cop dad. Like, you could set your shit to stun. We know you can.
Yeah.
But
no, not only that,
wild.
They're also just blowing holes in buildings and it's crazy.
Just like absolutely not giving a shit.
Yep. No, it's not. They don't care about people.
It's like, you're using like a full blown, I don't know, like the lats to shoot.
Yeah, cannons
at a kid, basically. Yeah. It's crazy.
It's
just extra bad. They're bad guys, but.
We also really like did a lot of touring of the city this week, and I think all the locations are beautiful. And like, not only that, the way that they're rendered is very interesting. Like the way that the subway platform, for instance, is constructed is really cool, and like adds a lot of like, makes you think about the world and how it's built together. It's just it's all very Star Wars-y in a very good way. The music continues to be very strong.
I wouldn't even think about it. It is fun to see a subway in Star Wars because you never really see underground travel because it's usually like
above ground. Yeah, I mean, we see some subway travel in Andor.
Yeah,
train travel in Andor.
I think it's usually like in, like more poor locations. Yeah. More like regular people use a subway, not flying cars and like fancy shit on
Oh, I need to plug in my computer. Oh. Pass me that one with the light on it. Yeah, before it all turns. Oh, that one. Yeah, before it turns off. It's okay. We're back. We saved it.
Yeah. Podcasting 101. Plug in your computer.
Make sure I was like, is everything turned on? I always forget everything was turned on. I mean, to be fair, I'm used to my computer having a battery so bad that I can't leave it unplugged. So this is a new thing, for better or for worse, whatever. Yeah, I mean, Subway. I guess I was gonna say what I was gonna say is a well-designed city has everyone from every strata of class using public transportation.
Of course,
when it's designed properly. It's just most cities in North America don't have that.
No.
Okay.
Ground's too frozen. That's what I like to say. Why we don't have it here?
No, we could have a subway. There's no reason. In fact, we should have a subway.
We should.
It was supposed to be built in the 70s, and our cheap ass grandparents are like, "No, I don't want to pay for that." And we'd all be reaping the benefits if not for our cheap ass grandparents. Anyway, where was I? Oh, the music. The music continues to be very strong. I feel like I sense more episode 3 musical cues. There was for sure one in the second episode, and obviously there's some Imperial like horns that make a lot of appearances here.
Right,
but general, I think that this episode thematically has a lot of episode 3 Fall from Grace type of themes. So it makes sense that they would start leveraging some of that music.
Yeah, I feel like anytime you get Imperials coming in, you need those like deep trombone-y kind of like
bum, 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 bum,
yeah.
Bum, 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 bum.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. I heard them use that and I was like, where do I first hear that like being used? And I can't place it. I want to say it's episode 3, but it might be something else. So anyway, impeccable action sequences, as we talked about. Love the LAAT chase. Everything with lightsabers feels great. And then here's my 2 nitpicks.
Okay.
The 2 boots, like those boots aren't regulation for a character named 2 Boots. Feels really on the nose, and I just feel like it's like a little forced. It does like, we get it. His name is 2 Boots, and he's wearing boots. Like,
yeah.
And then the trashy droid thing
that
also
made me laugh.
It's also like, okay, so that's Spybot referencing a Viper droid, probe droid, and like it also feels really on the nose because like Spybot feels like an edgy, quote unquote, modern redesign of what a Viper droid would be if you're like inventing it today, and I feel like that's just kind of lame. It's just like, aren't we cool? Look how much cooler we are than
hater.
The
He's
original
just a
stuff.
Hater.
Spybot is a hater. That's fair. That's true.
He hates the Imperials. He hates all of it. So
fair enough.
He makes me giggle. I'm a fan.
What's his little catchphase? Boosh kaboo, boosh
kadoo or something.
Boosh kadoo, as we all know and love. All right, let's get into the episodes themselves. Well, I think I've done a good job of being a little bit more concise, although we spent 40 minutes on the intros, so I guess there goes all my extra time I bought. All right, so let's talk about the intro helmet. So I have a complete readout, and so the I guess the thematic look at this is that it's a little bit of something from every era of Star Wars animation.
Okay.
So we start with obviously Gen 1 Clone Trooper, the OG Star Wars animation, right? Then we go to Ezra's training helmet, the Rebels, that's just like the next era of Star Wars animation.
Yeah.
Then the droid with the helmet on, okay? I was like, what the heck is that? My next guess for this week was going to be the Star Tours droid.
Okay.
But that's not who it is. In fact, it's Bucket from Resistance. So
I've never seen that show.
I have seen that show.
Yeah.
And I regret not placing that. But to be fair, again, as I said earlier, I don't think about that show ever really. Then we have Tech, obviously, Bad Batch. Then we have the 6th brother, which is from the Tales of the Jedi.
Yeah.
And then, so this is like a little bit of everything. So we have the Clone Wars, Rebels, Resistance, Bad Batch, Tales of the Jedi. Then we have Imperial. What I thought was maybe an Imperial Super Commando helmet is in fact Barriss Offee's Inquisitor helmet.
Oh, okay.
From Tales of the Empire.
Gotcha.
Then we have that terrifying cross-shaped droid head.
Yeah.
That's C-21. He's a bounty hunter from the Clone Wars.
Oh, okay.
So from the revival Clone Wars era from season 6 and 7. And then we get the first Inquisitor Marok.
Right.
Who I think we also see in the last Tales of series.
Yeah.
And then 2 Boots, obviously, from this series. So it's a little bit of one from everything, basically. I'm a little upset because I know I'd recognize the C-21, but I couldn't place it. And then
being a bounty hunter makes sense, yeah.
And then the Star Tours droid, I mean, like Bucket from Resistance, not the Star Tours droid, but like that was like a
I never would have clocked that, but yeah.
But yeah, it also like they come by really fast, and obviously you don't get a great shot of it. But here's the thing: I do continue to respect that it's reserved for people with helmets on or droids.
Yeah.
And it's like that shit's cool as hell. It's not just some person's face.
Yeah.
And so, as someone who exclusively collects Black Series stuff that has a helmet or a droid, I feel seen. Okay, so. Before we get into Chapter 5, Inquisition, I'll just mention a couple things, a little housekeeping. So if you want to help support the show, head over to patreon.com/TowerBabblecast. We're doing monthly film clubs. This month we're doing Taxi Driver. I'll record that with Matt next week. This week, tomorrow, I hope to be recording an episode with Matt on a general film, movie, news roundup. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully this week, as long as that doesn't fall through. That was actually supposed to happen over the weekend, and it didn't come to pass. If you want to find all the things that we do, head over to the podcast website, Tower of Babel, BABBLE.ca. You'll find links to the Patreon. You'll find links to Small Screen Star Wars, as well as the flagship show, the Tower Babble podcast. All that is there. Again, mentioned we do record live on Twitch and YouTube. So hit subscribe if you want to come live and hang out in the chat room with us. Okay, let's get into it. Chapter 5, Inquisition. Captain Lawson faces a sobering new reality. I actually think this might be one of the best log lines we've had on a Star Wars show in a long time, because it so perfectly encapsulates the feeling of this episode, which is to say that like with the Empire here, shit is now different.
Yeah,
and you need to be prepared to deal with that. And like as I mentioned, the twilight of Rylee's innocence is on display here. We just got like, it's just really the sunsetting of a whole different life for these people with the introduction of the Empire. And sobering is probably a little like bit of an understatement, I would say, when you're talking about kind of like how much his life has changed. He's not a cop anymore. He's a fugitive now.
No, yeah. He's wanted now.
I assume that the path, like this is the from person with morals to rebellion leader pipeline.
Yeah.
That we're going to be in, that we're on here now. So we'll see how that goes. This is directed by Tatiana Drury-Carvin and Brad Rao and Saul Ruiz. Written by Jennifer Corbett, Amanda Rose Munoz. And runtime of 24 minutes. The 24-minute runtime is like the standard runtime, it seems. Last week we were both 24. This week both of them are 24. This is basically what the runtime was for episodes of Clone Wars when it was on syndicated television. So maybe some self-imposed limitations for runtime are healthy.
Yeah.
Is possible. Okay. I should ask before we get into this, did you have any other overall thoughts that we didn't cover?
I don't think so. No,
okay.
No.
Okay. So we start with a bit of a setup. We're going to jump around a little bit here, but we obviously we're on Janix. We spend these 2 full episodes on Janix. We don't leave. We start straight at a title card, so no cold open. Great shot of the city as the ISD overshadows the city. So we kind of got a little bit of this at the end of last week. We continue that thematic look. This is something we've seen before, like the triangular shadow cast by the Star Destroyer.
Yeah.
Like is a visual shortcut that we are very familiar with in Star Wars. And it basically is just like the impending boot of the Empire coming down over a population, casting it over an entire swath of land, right?
It's always like menacing seeing the big shuttles, or not shuttles, but like just like looming over the city.
So right? Having an ISD.
Like, it's just like when they're just hanging out, hovering over the city, that's like, it's
both, it's both
menacing.
practical and it's psychological warfare, right? Like you put it out, you hang a Imperial Star Destroyer over top of a city, and it's like, again, this visual representation of the control they have over the people.
Like the Star Destroyer doesn't need to be there. It can be in orbit. Go back up into orbit and just like hang out. But the fact that they just leave it it's
much more. Again, it's like what imposing. They did on Jedi and all that stuff. It's like it's not an accident. It's there to show the level of control that they have. So again, we start with Lats and an Imperial shuttle. Something you're probably familiar with. You've watched a lot of Bad Batch. We got a lot of those combinations.
Yeah.
This is the Proto Lambda Imperial shuttle. As mentioned, I always love a Lat. When we get to the chase, maybe I'll talk about it more, but I just think that like they're maybe the coolest ship ever made, and like one of the coolest ships ever made in Star Wars. I think
the Lats are the coolest ships ever made?
I really love them.
Interesting.
I really, really love the Lat. It's got the vibe of a helicopter, like a Black Hawk helicopter or something.
Yeah.
But it's got all these like cool trappings. They can carry tanks, and they've got those beam laser things on the side, and they got the side door opening where you can hold the handle. Is like, I mean, that's obviously the helicopter comparison, but it's just like very very cool, and they can go in space. It's just like it's a very versatile tool.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
And again, I can't understate the sound design of the LAT is incredible. Okay. And then we have TK troopers. So we've been talking a lot about timeline. Where exactly are we? We had told it was like 2 years after Order 66.
That makes sense.
Something like that.
Yeah.
We might be even earlier than that. I mean, these are TK troopers. I guess the first year is emblematic of clone troopers being on deployment.
Right, yeah.
So maybe this, because we're changing over the TK troopers, it does place us at 2 years. Anyway, it gives us a strong sense of what's going on. Things with the Bad Batch are happening in parallel with this.
Yeah.
With this episode or this season. We have LATs here and not other Imperial style, landers basically, and like less lambdas. We again get that sense that we're still connected to the Clone Wars in a very meaningful way. The Empire's locking down the city. They're grounding transports. It's interesting to see how the Empire's kind of mastered the art of occupying planets so quickly. And obviously, like, again, in Star Wars, a planet is really just like one city. So,
right, yeah.
But regardless, it's like, okay, so they impose the Star Destroyer. A Star Destroyer has enough personnel and vehicles on it that it can easily fan out very quickly. We see how many like units they have available to them across the city to like lock it down extremely fast, right? So there's like deadly efficiency at its work. This is stuff that they would have learned during the Clone Wars, mastered during that time, and then when they switch over to the TK program, it's just like it's a shift in thinking, right? It's not a military thinking, but now it becomes this kind of political and like fascist methodology of control, right? Which is to like put people with machine guns on every street corner,
and start asking people with papers,
put the fear of God into everyone, right? And to hyper effective.
Even at one point, they're like, "Hey, you look like you know something."
Yeah, I love that. I thought that I was laughing hard at that.
I was like, "What?"
Yeah,
but
you look like you know something.
Because I was noticing.
Do I look like I know something?
There's a lot of different aliens on this planet. Like if you're looking in the background, at, like sometimes when the two Jedi there are kind of trying to shuffle away from the Imperials.
Yeah, so there's a lot of those scenes.
Yeah, so you see a lot of like different alien species in the back, right? So it's interesting, but then it's like, hey, you look like you know something. So they're just going in and just being those like a-holes. So they're just messing with everyday regular people, and
is the allusions to the real world could not be stronger. So I mean, like I said, this does nothing for the lack of respect for authority. Any other thoughts on this kind of like quick lockdown that they're
it's very typical. It's a lot of what we're used to in terms of like what happens when
and
the
it
Empire
feels
gets
like
somewhere.
It was kind of Andor's like interpretation of Imperial control. I feel like really is reflected here.
Yeah, absolutely. I see a lot of like similar things.
Yeah, and again the way that stormtroopers come across as more scary is something that I think was really lost in Star Wars for a long time.
Right.
And it was kind of recaptured in Andor in an interesting way. And here we see it. And it's really, I think it's very effective at kind of at setting a tone. So Master Daki and Devin make plans to get out of the city, choosing to give up on the Maul issue. Or just like, we don't, it's the Imperial issue now. It's not for us. We have to concentrate on us. We need to find somewhere to hide or get out of here so that we can wait for the Empire's stuff to cool off and we can move on. Captain Lawson tries to fall on the sword for the failed mission while speaking to Chief Kleiss, but she insists it's her job to take responsibility with the Empire for the failed attempt to take down Maul.
Right.
There's this like, again, this impending sense of doom. It'll come up over and over again. But Kleiss seems concerned, but maybe not concerned enough. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, your droid really stepped in at this time, And like, hey, it's like, there's this great line. Could be worse. It's not like we were harboring Jedi. Which is fun. I think that's that's a great line because it's like, oh, okay, well, I guess he's technically harboring Jedi, but also not really, and then he is later.
It's almost like she also doesn't think it's going to be as bad as it is. Like she also has this idea that like, oh, the Empire's not that bad. They're just going to come in.
It's bad. Like,
we'll get a slap on the wrist. Like, they'll take over, yada, yada. But like, it's not like you're going to get, actually, no, you're probably going to get low-key
sent
tortured.
To prison or whatever the hell you
get. By an inquisitor. Like it's harsh, right? So,
I mean, it's beyond harsh. I mean, what happens? We don't even know what happens to Kleist, but we see her fingernail markings on the table.
Yeah. Crazy.
So that's not good. And then her badge is like thrown around. So it's not great. So she's very like, I guess you could argue that like her mishandling this and like not putting a moratorium on like anyone contacting the Empire.
Yeah.
And like leaving it up to Captain, like to her people, kind of brought this on herself. You could argue that, but also obviously she doesn't deserve what happens to her here.
No.
And then we meet Lieutenant Blake and his little droid. So Lieutenant Blake, the Imperial, accuses the chief of withholding information on the whereabouts of a dangerous fugitive. Takes over the case and then really the whole planet, and has the chief sent for interrogation.
Mm-hmm.
She tries to push back and basically be like, well, don't make accusations unless you can prove them. Very cop-like.
Yeah.
Right? But as we know, Imperials don't care about that. They'll make up whatever they need to do whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
They have impunity to not have to deal. There's this, again, my lack of respect for authority. When you see this type of behavior, it's a abuse of power, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's this idea that you can both set the rules, make the rules, but then not have to play by them.
Mm-hmm.
And so you basically get to change the rules at your will, right? Which really makes it like a completely uneven playing field and tilts everything in your favor. It's disgusting and I hate it.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Captain
Lawson tries to intervene, but Blake already has his eyes on him. Like, oh, don't go too far.
Mm-hmm.
We see their badge. So, because he grabs his badge off his belt. This is so funny. And then I guess it flips out like a little like
a real cop badge.
Like an old, or like a Star Trek communicator or whatever.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it's funny because like, there's a scene where he grabs the badge, but his eyes don't look down.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that the dialogue is said, it's like, oh, don't go far, Captain.
Yeah.
It's as if he's supposed to have read the badge, but his eyes don't look at it. So I don't know if that's just a mistake in animation or not, but it's funny to me. I just think it's funny, like, okay, we're going to set up this badge concept because it's going to come up a scene later where he needs to be able to understand that Kleist's badge has been taken.
Right.
And we need to, as the audience, need to understand that that's what's going on.
Yeah.
And then later, when he gets home and he tosses his badge on the counter, we're supposed to kind of interpret like, this is all very cliche cop stuff, but they have to establish what a badge looks like. So this is like them doing that. So I think that's it's like a fun shorthand. We're treated to a montage of Imperials offloading onto the planet and checking IDs, basically just posting up everywhere. And this is also seen by Spybot, who reports back to Rook. Rook, meanwhile, suggests to Maul that they should relocate to another system, now that the Empire's here. But Maul wants to stay on the planet, presumably, and Rook mentions this, it's like, oh, because you just care about the girl.
Right.
She's a little surprised because she did try to kill him. And I love this line from Maul. An admirable attempt. She'll make an excellent apprentice.
They appreciate that.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I like a good try to kill me. That's great.
I do like how competent she is. Like, she's not...
Oh, no, she's very competent. Yeah, she's very good.
Like, she's not just like a bumbling kind of Padawan that is being... Like,
she seems on the older side.
Yeah, because she handles an Inquisitor, like, relatively well by herself.
I mean, she might have been knighted soonish if it wasn't for 466 and, Ludi is concerned. This is the only Ludi we get for this whole week. Is concerned because his smuggling operation has been grounded because of the Empire, and he's like, "What did I get out of all this?"
Yeah.
And then he's reminded by Maul that he gets to live. And then I I don't always love Ludi for kind of like always being a little bit too cartoonish.
Yeah.
But I do like oh no, I get to live. That is a good point. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. He's like, I guess I'll stay.
And then he asked if he's being kept as a prisoner. He's free to go, but he chooses to stay as opposed to facing the Empire.
Yeah.
And then there's this like funny line about how he gets to hang out in the bowels of the city. And he says the bowels aren't so bad as long as you don't mind the smell and the dark, which is funny. I just think that's actually quite funny. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
He's talking to himself though. And then we get this quick shot of Rook's Mandalorians as they're concerned also about the Empire.
Yeah, they don't want to deal with the Empire.
It's a little bit of everyone being concerned about the Empire, but they're really in it for the money, is what it seems. One of them points out that the prophets will be tougher to come by with the Empire here.
Right.
Which I think is fair to point out. So I guess, do you think that this is setting up some sort of like mutiny by these Mandalorians at some point?
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see them not wanting to stick around. So they've got their own motivations, and if they're highly motivated by profits and they're not going to see any of those profits, they're just going to bounce.
This just occurred to me, but like there's this line in The Mandalorian where what's her name? Bo-Katan is like, oh yeah, we're kind of like, she doesn't love the stereotype that all Mandalorians just became bounty hunters, which at the time that was a reference to Boba Fett being only character that had that kind of helmet, and it was before all that stuff, and he was a bounty hunter. So, but it also lends credence to this idea that like, oh no, they just did convert their skills into bounty hunting because it was like automatic for them.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. It made the most sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we get this like a great like direct through line to that, which is like, here's two Mandalorians who are like, I'm only in it for the money, and if the money dries up, I'm out of here. Right.
Yeah.
Do you think? Okay, so
I would feel like Rook might stay.
Oh, Rook's not going anywhere.
But the other two, I think they're a little less invested.
Yeah, and the other Night brothers too also seem a little bit like less. They seem a little annoyed also.
Yeah, I can't imagine them bailing, but we'll see.
Yeah, we get this weird like brother line.
They always call each other brother.
Yeah, I know, but like he says it in like a kind of like an annoyed way.
Oh yeah. I can't not think of Hulk Hogan when I hear them say brother like that.
Brother.
It's just
Hulk Hogan, but no, it's that's Randy Savage, is it not? Randy Savage says brother.
Hulk Hogan also.
Oh no, brother. No, yeah, you're right. No, Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan are have a rivalry, but brother was Hulk Hogan. Randy Savage was something other stuff. Randy Savage, funny character. Randy Savage. Oh yeah. My voice literally couldn't do it. The bone saw is coming. Sorry, I'm just hurting myself. No, that's different. That's also someone else.
Isn't that from Spider-Man?
Maybe.
Bonesaw, isn't that the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man?
Yeah, but that's wrestling also, so whatever.
Yeah, no, I know.
Wrestling.
That's the guy that he fights in like the first Spider-Man movie. Bonesaw.
Anyway, don't worry about that. Yeah. I'm not a wrestling expert. I haven't watched wrestling significantly since the Attitude Era when it was good.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Telling other boys to suck it all the time. Right?
Well, I wasn't doing that, I don't think, necessarily.
Every 9-year-old kid
I'm sure I did.
To suck it in the hallway of their elementary school.
Yeah, I'm sure they were. It's very
They
funny.
all were.
Well, they're wearing their jorts.
None of them knew what it meant. They all just did it anyway.
Yeah, fair enough. Any thoughts on this opening sequence? This is kind of just setting up.
We're just here. It's very typical.
Putting the pieces on the board.
Yeah.
All right.
Empire coming in and ruining
everything.
Fun.
Yep. So at this point forward, basically the tone shifts.
Mm-hmm.
It gets a little darker in the sense that like the stakes are higher, but like from a tonal perspective, things actually brighten up. Like there's a lot more like quipping, and there's a lot more action, and so it actually changes from, I feel like, being very like noir police procedural to being, again, an episode of the Clone Wars.
Right.
So police headquarters, Captain Lawson spots a trooper with Chief Klyce's badge. He's taking in his surroundings as we're put in his POV as his kind of like panic starts to set in. I like that the way they do the sound design here. It's like you get this like screeching sound, and he's like freaking out, and then he's cut out of it. The tension is cut when Two Boots shows up with some calf offering forgiveness for shutting him down. He's like, don't worry, don't be upset for shutting me down. I know that's why you're upset. And there's this great, like, this is the last moment that these two have together in this 2-episode arc. And he basically says, you just don't get it. Mm-hmm. You think that you brought this on us. Our lives are completely changed now. And you think that even if they find Maul, they're going to just leave. It's not going to work that way. And Two Boots is like, well, we don't have enough data to assess that yet.
Yeah. And he's like, look at all the resources they brought us.
Yeah,
it's all positive.
He's so chipper about it. It makes me really hate him. I really kind of hate him.
Yeah, in this moment, you're kind of just like, God, get it.
This guy.
Figure it out, Two Boots. Like, stop being such a
real snitch.
Brown noser. Yeah.
No, I went from really liking Two Boots to really not liking him.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's left to stare at a hollow of Maul as he's brought in for interrogation. And we see fingernail marks on the table. And then the first brother, Marok, appears behind him and wants to know, quote unquote, everything that happened. So
that's the very typical bad guy thing of the hands on the shoulders.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think, I think of Andor, of course. There's this great scene with Ben Mendelsohn when he's like interrogating, what's her name? The blonde woman. And he puts his finger on the top of her head. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Which apparently was improvised. And so this is like that, but just much more cliche, obviously. No one's quite like Ben Mendelsohn and putting the finger on top of their head. Yeah. That's so wild.
Deidre, right?
Deidre,
yeah.
Yes.
Poor
Deidre, or not so poor Deidre.
Yeah. Well, that's something when they say that, or in this, with that the police captain's been transferred permanently. It's like,
oh yeah.
What does that mean? Is she dead? Did you kill her?
Well, I just imagine she's in a prison, like she's on like a internment camp.
Probably, yeah. But transferred permanently, like also just
great line though. Transferred permanently.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Empire. I mean, this again. A lot of what we see here is like just like Star Wars cliche, and this is one of those things. We're back with Daki and Devin. The duo hide themselves amongst the crowd, avoiding Imperial patrols. Daki seems to still be injured, being helped by Devin, kind of like guided around like an old grandpa. Mm-hmm. Devin, though, is troubled. She doesn't really have a lot of hope after this, like that the Imperial occupation. She doesn't want to spend her life in hiding, wasting her abilities. Daki rightfully identifies that she's kind of repeating Maul's words here.
Yeah.
She admits she's confused. Why would he offer to be their ally if he's so powerful, like because they couldn't take him down?
Right.
And agrees that maybe his idea that taking on the Empire alone means that they don't stand a chance, and that only together can they,
right.
Impact change. We get this line from Daki that says, "The Empire may be our common enemy, but Maul will never be our ally," which is obviously an inversion of, enemy of our enemy
is my friend.
Is my friend.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Daki is smart enough to clock that. Like he's just like whatever. Like we understand that we have the same motivation right now, but like that guy is not someone we want to help and we don't want to be aligned with, and like he's bad news.
Well, I think Daki doesn't maybe fully understand the stakes here. Like I don't think he understands that Devin's being targeted by Maul.
Maybe not yet, no.
In that way.
I think he just knows that like he can't be trusted. He's like, no, like we know who that guy. Like I know who that is.
They as a organization, as a Jedi organization, have dealt with him enough to know. But like, I guess I would say that generally speaking, Daki comes off as naive, despite his old age. This isn't necessarily one of those times, but I think maybe to Devin it comes off that way.
Yes, I would say so. Like, because I feel like we always see this kind of trope when there's an old master and a younger Padawan in this time frame of the Empire, that the younger Padawan does kind of get do something. Like we have to do something, and we can't do it the same way we did it before.
We need to act and we need to change.
Yes, and like the old Jedi is like, no, we got to stick. They still want to stick to their old Jedi ways of
we
doing
have to do it the way we've always done things.
Yes, it's like okay, well that's not working anymore.
We literally were
the same anymore.
Literally all murdered for doing the things that we've always been doing.
Yeah, so it's that struggle between like how far can you adapt until you're
before you sacrifice everything that makes you who you are. And I guess like. Yeah, I mean...
So yeah, the younger Padawans are always a little bit more flexible to adaptation, but like the older Jedi Masters are more rigid in.
Yeah, it kind of comes across as like this continuing metaphor about how the Jedi are blind to their own weaknesses.
Right, yeah.
And I don't know what the right answer is. Like,
no,
I could
it's
say,
hard to know.
I would say, like, if I'm Madaki, it's like, you got to trust. He says later that, like, I've been around the galaxy a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen lots of change. Tyranny always fails.
Right.
And while that maybe is true in the long term, in the short term, it's not very comforting, right?
No.
Say, okay, well, I only have to deal with 50 years or 100 years of torment, and then maybe one day it'll be better.
Yeah.
But like, she's like, I have my whole life in front of me, and I don't want to waste my life hoping that things will get better. Why can't we act and kind of bring that change upon ourselves? Which is reasonable. So again, I don't know what the right decision is. I think to some degree, I'm not saying teaming up with Maul is necessarily the right idea, but if teaming up with Maul to take down Palpatine was on the table, that's probably actually a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
Because if you could work with him and be like, listen, we don't get along, we don't have any aligned principles whatsoever, but we do know that we need to take out the Emperor. That's going to be hard to do because you need to be highly trained and highly skilled, and be able to infiltrate the highest levels of the Empire and all these things. That would take coordination and effort amongst a lot of very powerful Jedi. And if they could put their differences aside, as Maul actually sometimes seems like he's willing to.
Yeah, he does seem like he's willing to. Like, he's done the same thing before. He reached out to Ahsoka being like, "Hey, join me." But it is always
he does do it in a very selfishy way.
Yes,
though.
He's always like, "Join me." Like, it's my thing. And it's like, if you would just chill out, stop being such a psycho, maybe people would.
I think he'd be hard to work with.
Yeah,
I like it to be like, "Here's the plan," and be like, "That's not a good plan," and then you just do it himself.
You're always trying to kill Kenobi.
Yeah, it's like we talked about this. You got to stop trying to kill him in his sleep. Okay, so I don't know. I just think it's a fascinating argument, and it's never like a clear answer. So back at Police HQ, we actually hang out with Rylee again. After seeing everything go down at the stadium earlier, he makes his way to the police station to find his dad. He makes his way through a throng of people who are confused and scared. Mm-hmm. We hear cops and droids complain that they've been locked out of their files and they've been reassigned.
Yeah. I like the two droids bickering behind the front desk.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's, because it's like they come in and they cause this sort of
it's chaos. It's chaos, yeah. And they thrive on chaos because then they say, look at all this chaos. Let's bring control.
Yeah,
but
look how unorganized you are.
Comes in the form of tyranny. Anyway, he's ignored and he sneaks into the back room. I think it's funny how he goes to this door and there's a trooper standing right there and the trooper does nothing.
Yeah.
I just think that's really funny. It's like, what are you posted there for if not to stop an obvious child from walking in here? Anyway, he finds Two Boots and tells him that his dad is being, and he gets told that his dad is being interrogated, but won't receive more information from Two Boots because he's a civilian and he cites protocol. Yeah. So you get this very droid thing, which is oh, protocol says this and that. Mm-hmm. Protocol's the reason we're in this mess in the first place.
Yeah.
So this kind of disdain for protocol in me just grows even further. Yeah. So it's just this idea that oh, well, because it's written down this way, we can't be flexible.
Right.
You might know this child personally.
Yeah.
But you're not willing to tell him what's going on with his dad. And the craziest part is when he's like, when or if he's released, he'll get back to you. And he's like, what do you mean if?
If. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's I feel like even Rylee says something to him you've known me. For, what do you mean? I'm just a civilian, right? It's, It's like when Mace calls Ahsoka a citizen.
Oh my God, deadly. Just the most insulting thing you could ever do.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it is almost exactly like that. But I mean,
this is not, citizen. You basically can't know what we're doing now.
Yeah, rough.
Yeah. It's tell the people who need to know the information.
Yes, well, again, that's the example of the arrogance of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Embodied very well by Mace Windu. I couldn't trust you, but now I can trust you. So just wait here while I go murder your mentor.
Yeah.
Anyway. So this is obviously very concerning. Again, if I was Rylee, I'd be freaking the hell out.
Yeah.
He's spotted by Lieutenant Blake, who learns who Rylee is, which I think is important for later, probably at some point.
Yeah.
Whether he'll use that to threaten Captain Lawson or vice versa. Anyway, before he's sent away, meanwhile, Captain Lawson explains to Marok that he walked into an ambush and that most of his team didn't make it out. Marok is suspicious of how Lawson seemed to make it out unharmed. Again, this is all very cliche. It's like, lucky me, yada, yada, yada. Any other thoughts on this sequence here with Rylee? No. Okay. Moving on. Back with Daki and Devin, the Jedi pair tried to take a train out of town. I love a train. Obviously, one of the things that, Star Wars it's a combination of samurai and westerns. Trains are a very Western thing. And I love great public transportation. So, we get a really cool looking train platform. I like how when a train arrives, the platform extends out to reach meet the train.
Right.
Which is a really smart way of having infrastructure that both keeps you safe, but in classic Star Wars tradition, also is dangerous.
Yeah. No railings.
Yeah. Well, there's no railings on a subway station either.
Some places have kind of put them up now.
Really?
There's it's because of
people keep jumping on the tracks.
But it's almost like walls that come up.
Oh, really?
And then the walls will come down when the train actually shows up.
Oh, that makes sense.
But these walls come up and down in between.
That makes more sense than a platform moving closer to the tracks.
Yeah. Yes.
But either way, I just think it's cool design. Star Wars design. Their plan is to wait out the Empire at some ruins that are in. You know how Jedi love to hang out at ruins.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's ruins in the jungle somewhere.
Of course.
Just a quick reminder: this planet Janix, the city, is in a crater, built into a crater, and then it's surrounded by dense jungle that's apparently quite dangerous. Right. So their plan is to try to escape the city into the jungle and hang out at these ruins, and wait for the Empire to capture Maul, for their grip to loosen a little bit, and then once there's a crack, escape through the crack before they're discovered as Jedi. So he tries to comfort Devin, Daki does, by saying, "Throughout my long life, I've seen the galaxy endure many changes. Tyranny is always defeated. We must remain hopeful." But again, do you think this is a naive perspective? We talked about this a little bit already.
Yeah, but it's also one of those things where we don't know how long his species lives for, but say he's like a Yoda species and he can live for 800 years.
Even half that.
It's dude, that's pretty different to someone who doesn't have that lifespan.
But also, you could also say, even if he's 90, let's say, okay, he's 90 and he lives to 150. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's just a little bit longer than a human lifespan. Also, I don't know, how long do Twi'leks live? A little bit longer than people, but probably not much longer.
Yeah.
The galaxy has been quote unquote at peace for 1,000 years. We really have no context for how long, as a person living in any time.
Yeah.
How long 1,000 years is in terms of what that means for change. And
right.
There's eras on the human planet in a human civilization where 1,000 years passed and there wasn't massive meaningful change in terms of technology or way of life or how people lived. But it's an extremely long amount of time, a very long time. And he might have lived a long time, but he's lived that entire time in peace, essentially.
Yeah.
Right? Until the Clone Wars, or, there's other skirmishes and stuff like that, of course. But,
right.
And other problems during the High Republic and that kind of stuff. But ultimately, this is completely different for him. So to say oh, don't worry, I've seen this before. Not really, you haven't. So it does come across as naive, I think. And I think it falls on deaf ears a little bit.
Well, it's also have you really seen mass Jedi extermination? I don't think so.
Never.
So this is already super unprecedented, the fact that you're being hunted the way you are.
There's some sort of mass Jedi death thing that happened during the High Republic of some kind, but I don't know how that works exactly, and I don't know if it's clearly not the same, so it's not really relevant.
Right.
Anyway, as they try to board the train, the Imperials are already locking it down. I get this line from Daki. I never really liked trains much anyway. And they're stopped by a trooper asking for their ID, but Daki tries to do a Jedi mind trick on him. You have seen our identification. We're free to go. And that's obviously a reference to New Hope about,
of course,
the very first time we see this happen. Funny enough, when we first see this happen in A New Hope, when Obi-Wan does it to that stormtrooper, there are other stormtroopers around.
Yeah.
But they don't seem to notice or care. These aren't the droids you're looking for. You're free to go, right?
Yeah.
And this case, I actually thought it was so fun to see this trooper kind of like perk up in the background and like make his way over and be like, why did you let those people go?
Yeah.
And part of it is like, okay, so the TK program's new.
Yeah.
So maybe they're a little bit more on the ball, right?
I think that's part of it. They're all, it's like new cops, right? So they're all trying to like be the
Sticklers
best at what they're doing.
rules,
exactly. Like maybe watching each other to see like how they can work their way ups in the ranks, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And you know how the Empire is. They're always looking for ways to be like, throw someone else on your team under your bus so you can step on them on the way up.
Absolutely, yeah. So but again, it's showing that they're a little bit more competent than maybe we're.
Yeah, but again, this is an example of like, oh, look, no, this is much scarier than you would have thought. So anyway, they jump into action. Freeze! And then it's action time. So the pair jump into action, taking down several stormtroopers with martial arts. It's very cool. Devin is like throwing herself around, doing like jumping kicks and stuff. It's really, really badass. They try to pull a Bourne Identity by jumping across a train tracks as the train comes through. But it's pretty funny because they do that and then the train just stops and then more troopers come out and just chase them down.
Yeah, they just come out the door.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they're chasing around the train platform where they hide in the rafters and they get away. But then we notice that Docky's still injured and he's wincing in pain, which is like picking up from last week. And so it's obviously not been very much time. But he also takes on Marok and despite being injured is like pretty good. So he does have this great line, "I'm not dead yet." Yeah. Right? I love when people say like, "Are you okay?" Mm-hmm. Yada yada. No, I'll be all right. I'm not dead yet.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like there's always that like last oomph that they can give if they need to. Any thoughts on this escape?
No, it's good. It's fun to see
a Jedi mind trick fail?
Well, yeah.
Not fail, I guess. It still works, but not in the way
like we're so used to seeing it just like working and them getting away and then cut to the next scene where it's like, no, like they're actually having to try like a lot harder to get away right now. So it's I can appreciate that.
Yeah, again, it raises the stakes. Yeah. Okay. We return to the scene of the ambush. We get some lats. They drop off Marok, who uses the Force to push the like crime scene thing aside. It's funny.
Yeah.
And then we go to Rylee at his house. We quickly get to Rylee at home, looking out the window at a sunset. So this is remarked upon in the Screen Crush video, but I think it's also a pretty obvious metaphor here. Again, the twilight of his innocence is to say, like, his life as of this moment will literally never be the same again.
Right.
He can never go back to just living a normal life playing team sports.
No.
He's now a fugitive essentially from this moment, not quite yet, but like it's coming soon. And the sun is setting and that sun represents the life he once knew. And so anyway, it's just they did this a lot during the prequel era with the Jedi. It was like always dusk when we cut to the Jedi temple there. And it was supposed to embody or embolden be a metaphor for the twilight of the Jedi Order. The sun is setting on the Jedi Order as we know it. Anyway, so he receives a call from his mom. She's wearing what appears to be an Imperial Navy uniform, but there's no pips, so maybe not directly in the Navy. It's unclear, like what she doesn't have like any patches or anything that you can like identify. Rylee tells her what's happened. Like he's like, "Hey, Dad's isn't being interrogated. There's the Empire's here. Like I don't know what's going on." The first thing that she does though is just like, "Oh no, what did he do now?" Yeah. Which is, okay, understandable why someone might say that, especially if they're separated, especially if they had a disagreement about something. But her advice is the worst. It's to cooperate with the Imperials, and if she has an opportunity to tell his dad to do the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like, if the troops are there, it's because they're there to keep you safe.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's called back to work. She literally doesn't even have 30 seconds to talk to her kid. And she's called back to work. She does say love you though, which is nice. she does seem genuinely like caring as a mom.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that she moved away from her kid.
Yeah.
To Coruscant. So, and we did nail that, by the way. We're like, she probably is working on Coruscant.
Yeah.
Right. I'll take that win. Any thoughts on this call with his mom? I mean, you're a mom.
Yeah.
What do you?
I mean, yeah. It's sort of. She's definitely playing like that. This character is playing that part of. She's deep in the Empire. It's like, oh, well, they're just there to protect you.
She's just eating the
drinking the Kool-Aid, doing the whatever, right? So it's that again, that kind of trope of like, oh, just listen to the police. They're not there to do anything bad. They're there to protect
you.
They're
not going to arrest your grandma.
Yeah,
and throw her send her to Guatemala.
Yeah.
Even though she's from Mexico. You know,
exactly.
like, so yeah,
it's that very
trust authority.
It's frustrating for us as like the viewer to see it because you're like, hey, like your kid is calling you and he's scared, and you're just being like, oh, my ex-husband's up to
no good again,
do his things again, just like just listen to the Imperials. It'll be fine. It's like it's not going to be fine though. Like you should know better than this.
I wonder if do you think the show will cut away to her on Coruscant and be like, hey, once like, hey, your husband is a fugitive and your son is on the run.
Like maybe she'll see a video at some point of them shooting at her kid.
Like, I don't like the show hasn't really seemed interested in like providing us other perspectives.
No,
so I don't know if the show will do that, but I just think it would be interesting to do that.
Like I mean, they have brought her in, so I would assume we will see her at least.
Yeah, but maybe again, still as a hollow and not.
Yeah. But
I mean, also, again, knowing the Empire. You can't call her now because they'll be watching her phones.
No, of course not. So it's... Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Like I said, this adds a layer of intrigue, right? We already knew about them being separated, right? And then this disagreement about about her working for the Empire, and now we get to see this like brought to like put into action.
Right, right.
Her kind of like colder stance or her kind of like more rigid perspective. Being at play here, like how much is that going to continue versus if her family's at risk, et cetera, et cetera.
Also, maybe like her literally being at work could be hindering what she can say.
Sure, that's true. That's true.
But I mean, like if I had a teenage son in our world and he called
the cops are here.
The cops are. I'd be like, well, okay, listen to them.
What if what if they're like, hey, mom, the military's here. And and they've taken my dad away. Taken dad away.
I'd be like, I'll be right there. Like, if,
she's on another planet.
Well, yeah, whatever.
So,
but
I'd be like, why don't you look into it? How about just look into it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just take it under advisement.
I would for sure look into it a lot more than that. It wouldn't be as simple, but like there's a point where you're like, okay, just try to keep your head down and like.
Sure. Don't cause trouble is a fair enough advice, but at
the same time, it's
not not listening, not actively listening to like what's actually happening. It would be a moment of like for a child be like very chilling. I think.
Yeah. Further. Especially when they're like, you need to come here.
Yeah.
Like be like, okay, but I'm on my way. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we return to the scene of the ambush again. We get another wipe. We go to Marok, who finds the crushed drone droid thing from last week. Then back to Daki. There's a lot of cross-cutting here. Daki and Devin, the Jedi are cut off by patrols. They need a place to hide. Despite a lack of contacts, Daki has an idea. We come back to the scene of the ambush again. Marok takes in the lightsaber damage / scoring on and intuits that there was more than just Maul involved. Right?
Yeah.
We hear kind of this like sound design of like the battle from last week. And the question is he like, is this just for our sake or is there Force echoes here? Jedi Survivor.
He could be getting Force echoes. That is something that we're told that they can
That's a thing that exists in canon. So sure, maybe.
Lore, yeah.
I like that it's like not explicit. It's like, I am hearing these echoes from the Force as I speak to myself. So that's cool. I mean, it's a nice idea.
Like that a Force user can even just see that there's a battle and be like, okay, there's more than one
obviously
lightsaber
there's
here.
more than one lightsaber here.
Yeah, they can see that, yeah.
Meanwhile, Spybot plugs into the Imperial network. He can do anything and notifies Maul that the Empire has spotted the Jedi, and his take is how fortuitous.
Yeah.
So interesting. So Captain Lawson, he gets let free. He's like, can I at least get some caffeine? He's got a real coffee addiction.
Yeah, all the empty cups on his desk.
A real caffeine addiction. Anyway, he's released. The Empire thanks you for your cooperation. Great line from Captain Blake, or excuse me, Lieutenant Blake.
Yeah.
Immediately I was like, this is a trap.
Yeah. They always, like, whenever they leave, like, let you go, it's like, they're going to follow you.
Yeah.
They're watching you. They just know.
So he returns to his apartment, underground parking, pretty luxurious. So that's pretty sweet. And then we get the shot of him like walking to the apartment. He like steps on his carpet and his foot like leaves a mark on the carpet.
Yeah.
Pretty cool carpet effects, if I do say so myself. And shadow work. Anyway, he calls for Rylee, who calls him into the kitchen, and we find the Jedi waiting there. Cut to black for an extended moment before we cut to credits. We get this like Jedi like leitmotif. We get this musical cue, and I think vague Order 66 leitmotif also. Cut to credits. Any final thoughts on episode 5?
No, I just think it's a very good setup for the fallout.
Things are bad. The Empire's here now. They're on to us. Now what?
Yeah.
Chapter 6, Night of the Hunted. Pushed to their breaking point, our heroes have no choice but to run. Again, another great log line, in my opinion, because that's what this entire episode is.
Yeah.
It's just them running, essentially. This is directed by Brad Rao and Stuart Lee, written by Christopher Yost and Amanda Rose Munoz. Runtime, 24 minutes, as the last 4 episodes have been. We start with Maul, and we get this, I love the bump, Imperial horns as a score. Kind of shows us the Imperial Star Destroyer hovering over the city. They're releasing probes. And then we cut to the bowels of the city, if I can borrow the term from Ludi. And we find Maul practicing what can only be described as Sith Tai Chi.
I thought the same thing when I saw it. I was like, oh, it's like lightsaber Sith Tai Chi. Yeah.
With his lightsaber. He starts with one blade, but then he brings out both. This is really cool. It just seems like maybe an opportunity to show off kind of the very slick animation that they're able to do here.
This does seem like something Maul would do, though.
It does. Yeah. I wonder if this is mocapped. This does give me a little bit of that mocapped energy, like from
maybe
the Maul Ahsoka fight.
I wonder who they would have got. I guess because anybody can do.
Well, not anybody, but like you can find someone who would be proficient with with this, who can do this.
Because I know
things.
They have used Ray Park in the past, but
he's crazy now. So, yeah. But yeah, there's other people who can do some of the stuff that Ray Park can do.
Yeah, for sure. I could just obviously you can tell it's not Ray Park because he's very I don't know. He's got very specific movements that he always uses with Maul.
Yes,
like the one leg jumps and the certain things.
The twirling and all that stuff. Yeah,
but.
Anyway, he's doing some of those moves here. We just don't know if it's Ray Park. It's not said.
I would assume they have enough Maul content in animation now that has been mocap.
Maybe
they can go back and maybe use some of it. But
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. It just looks really good.
Yeah, it does.
Animating like body motions like of this like fidelity is hard if you're doing it by hand. But it looks really cool. He's doing this on train tracks, which is like not. I think it's kind of lost in the way it's set up here.
Yeah,
kinda,
I didn't notice that.
Cuts in, and he's kind of like in this kind of like warehouse in a train track tunnel. And I guess the idea is that's supposed to tie into how he's able to like get to Devon so fast later by like using these tunnels.
That makes sense, yeah.
Anyway, he's interrupted by Rook, who shows him Imperial footage of Marok. And this sets the stage for their confrontation later as well. Cut to title card. Anything you want to say about his Tai Chi
No, it's
sequence?
Just cool.
Yeah,
I liked
cool
it a
stuff.
lot. Yeah.
Okay, back with Lawson and company. Back at Lawson's place, we pick up right at the from the end of last episode. Lawson asks them to go. He's like, "You guys can't be here." Closes a window. I love this. It's again cliche stuff, but it's short form for "I am nervous." So he goes and closes the window. You could also close the blinds. Is another classic, right? And Docky asked Devon to go hang with Rylee. You guys go hang out for a minute. Let me talk to Lawson
Let the
privately.
Talk.
Yeah. She's not happy about that.
No.
And then there's this great line from Lawson: "Don't let her steal anything."
Yeah.
Because of course they met because she was stealing something.
Yeah.
Lawson is concerned that being associated with Docky and Devin is dangerous for his family, which is true.
Yeah.
He should be concerned about that. But he also says, like, I also share that concern, Docky says, explaining that there was a purge of the Jedi Order and they barely survived. And so whatever, they have in mind for you, they have much worse in plan for them. Their plan was to only pass through the planet, but now that the Empire is here, they need somewhere to take refuge. And we do get an Order 66 leitmotif. This is directly called out by Screen Crush. The same music that plays as we get the montage of the Jedi being killed. So, yeah, and that happens right as he says, purge of the Jedi Order. So, obviously, what's nice, it's nice here, but what we're alluded to is what happened for Order 66. How do you think, they said they barely survived. So, do you think they had a standoff with their clones? Did they escape the...
I would assume
temple?
When you say you barely survived, to me that means there was obviously some kind of like altercation.
Fight, right.
Yeah, that they've escaped. So
right. Whether we'll ever see that moment on screen, they love to show us new Order 66 moments, but who knows?
That's true. I feel like I don't necessarily need to see it anymore for every new Jedi character. I'm like, yeah.
It does seem like we get it for everyone though, so it's possible that the moment will at least be described to us in more detail.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Docky asks if Lawson knows of any smuggling routes or criminal passages that would help them, at least stay hidden or get off the planet. But Lawson again cites his family and declines. I can't help you. Again, traditional stuff. It's like when people are confronted with these things, the gut reactions say, no, I have to think about me first.
Right. Yeah.
Before they can, they come around to the idea that, they should help. In Rylee's room, he tries to tidy up, and he's obviously like a little bit nervous about having a girl in his room. I think that line from whoever it was, like the director saying, like, you can smell the room.
Yeah.
That was from head writer.
Sweaty boy.
Head writer Matthew Michnovitz jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sweaty teenage boy. And that is a distinct smell that none of us like to remember. He's like a jock, and he's like, that's all he cares about.
Yeah.
But apparently he has no friends, which is kind of sad. I don't know. Because like as much as he was established as existing, he wasn't really established as a character. He's just like, I play sports. That's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
My dad's a cop. My parents are separated. Like that tells us a lot, but we also don't know much about him. And
no, I would assume he has friends. I feel like it's very rare for a kid to play sports on a team and not have friends.
Not have friends. That would be hard.
Yeah.
Unless that team is bullying him, which is also
fair
possible.
I don't know. They're all chanting his name at the
it seems
stadium,
likely.
So.
Yeah, he's probably fine. He's got like trophies and stuff. People like him because he's good at stuff. Okay, so he tells her that they're not together anymore. His parents, because she sees a picture of his mom, took a job on Coruscant with the Empire. Again, confirmed that that's true. She's surprised that he plays sports. We learned that it's called Bodekin. Again, I guess it's not surprised that he plays sports, but she's just surprised about sports in general. Because
she like doesn't even know what it is.
Like, what do you mean sports? Like, I just train with lightsabers all day.
Yeah.
But like, if you heard of fencing, you'd be great at it.
Yeah.
And he says, my life growing up was a bit different than yours.
Yeah.
Which is obviously a understatement.
Yeah. I was a child soldier.
Yeah.
So.
And you literally just played lacrosse.
Yeah.
You think they're about the same age? Like, is that what we're supposed to
I would assume, they're both like seem teens. If anything, she might be like a young adult, but
the actress who plays Devin is like early 30s.
Okay.
Gideon Adelon.
That doesn't mean anything when it's a voice.
No, it doesn't necessarily. But her mom, funny enough, is actually also in the cast.
Okay.
Plays his like informant character. That's her mom. A more established voice actress as well.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So anyway, Lawson tells Docky that he was interrogated by an inquisitor. And he's like, I've heard this word, inquisitor. I don't know what it means. But before they can get into anything, we hear a saber just cutting through the door. It's like they didn't even bother knocking. The Empire is here, and it's action time, and it's action time for the rest of the episode, basically straight.
Yeah. I thought Docky was going to die here.
Oh, me too.
I was like, oh, he's done. This is where he dies.
They're really stringing it along, I think.
I 100%, I was like, he's going to get killed by this Inquisitor here, protecting like Devin and Lawson and the kid, like letting them escape. Is like 100% what I thought was going to happen. And then she's going to go to Maul because she has no, help anymore, right? So, but that's what I was waiting for. But he's kicking it still.
Yeah, literally, he does a sick kick here.
Yeah, but he holds his own. So yeah,
the fight sequence is so cool. Like I'm not going to describe like this cool lightsaber move and that cool lightsaber move. We do a little of that when it comes around, but again, this like close quarters combat inside this apartment.
Fighting in a small apartment space like this is interesting.
Yeah, and it like reminds me of that like safe house that from Andor season 2.
Yeah,
it's got a similar look to that. Well, there was a big fight sequence there too.
Yeah.
Anyway, a fire is started. It engulfs their home. The picture of their family. I like how it's like in a regular show it'd be like a picture like curling up into flame, but it's like this is just like a digital pad that's burning. So that's funny. But again, this is like metaphor for their former life being
their life as they know it is done.
Yeah.
Like they can't go back. It's
Docky sends Devin to protect Lawson's son. So they're like, and Lawson and his son, they get sent out the window and up to the top of the roof, which leaves Docky and Marok to fight independently. He kind of holds his own pretty good, I think.
Yeah,
against
he
them.
does.
On the roof, there's this really sick lat moment where this LAT kind of like comes in and hovers off the edge of the building.
Yeah.
And then the camera like pulls back as the LAT kind of like fits the frame, and she positions herself to deflect blasters to protect the two of them. It's a really cool moment. Again, this is very like Clone Wars vibes with a little bit more, I guess, flair in the filmmaking here, but it looks really cool and the energy is really high. And there's like some quipping here where Devin's like, oh, maybe the roof wasn't such a good plan.
Yeah.
and Lawson's like, oh, maybe showing up my door wasn't such a good plan.
Yeah.
Anyway, meanwhile, he's murdering troopers because he's just, and his kid, I like that this is at least called out because Rylee's like, Dad, you can't just shoot.
Yeah.
You can't just shoot the troops. Like, what the heck? And
he just killed, like he kills them. So I'm like, he's done. Like he's fully killed.
Oh yeah, no,
troopers.
He's now fully committed to this. But also I think he understands that there's no like, oh, let me just put my hands up and it's going to be fine.
Well, they're already shooting at them.
Exactly.
And honestly, if someone was shooting at me and my kid, I would be shooting back.
Do you have if it was the cops, would you be shooting back?
If I had the means, yes.
Okay.
If they're shooting,
if I knew the cops were dirty, then
yeah, these are basically dirty cops.
Yeah.
And they're shooting at my child. I mean,
it's more complicated than that, but like, I guess what I'd say is like, I think again that Captain Lawson understands the stakes. He's like, it's life or death right now.
Yeah.
If this can ever be sorted out later, I can stand on the fact that I was protecting myself.
Yes,
but I don't like. It's like that's just not the concern right now. So and like as I mentioned, Rylee's going to have to come to terms with that on his own at some point soon.
Yeah. Because they wouldn't be shooting at these troopers if they haven't already been being shot at. Like, you know what
100%,
I mean? So
100%. Yeah.
It's different. They come in literally guns and cannons blazing. So.
Docky joins them on the roof, ordering Devin to steal the lat. It's so sick. She like does this maneuver where she like jumps off this like does this like wall kick and then lands on like the cockpit, uses the force to open it, and like tosses the pilot out. It's so cool. And like steals the LAT. Marok joins the fight. Docky engages as Devin uses the cannons on the LAT to hold Marok off. He does this cool move where he like headbutts him and like pushes him away so he can create space.
Yeah.
So that Devin can use the cannons on the lat.
Yeah.
To like try to kill him, obviously, but he like does this cool backflips and deflects one. Again, there's this moment earlier where Docky deflects those cannons with his lightsaber, and it's really cool. Every once in a while, you see like someone try to deflect like a shot from like a TIE fighter or something.
Yeah.
And it's more just like putting it into the ground.
Right.
But it's like, it's super cool. And it obviously looks very hard to do.
Yes. Yeah. It doesn't look as easy as like blaster bolts that you can
they're not doing it one-handed.
Aim and
generally.
deflect back. Yeah.
Yeah. It's super badass. This might be my favorite sequence of the entire week.
Oh yeah.
Which is like the fight in the apartment, up to the roof, the dealing with the troopers, stealing the lat, and then the lat chase is like, I think, the coolest sequence. And I think when I'd say like this is the coolest we've ever seen the lat, it's like, look how it's being used here. It's like being used as a helicopter. It's then stolen. There's a sequence where Lawson like climbs into the cockpit and then climbs down back into the storage area where everyone else is. Like, so we're moving through it. We're moving with it. It's like, I don't know. To me, it's like, this is like lat porn for me, and I love it. Lots of dead troopers here. Again, the show's not afraid to show you dead troopers, which is, I think, is again important.
So many
to keep the stakes high. Anyway, the lat is chased down by more of them. Devin hasn't flown one before, but seems to be a kind of a natural as a Force user. She pulls off this maneuver that causes one of them to crash behind them. There's a brief moment where Lawson tries to explain to his kid about how the Empire is not what they kind of like. He's like, you're gonna have, what you need to understand is that they're not who you think they are.
Yeah.
And before they're able to continue that conversation, two more lats appear on their tail.
Yeah.
They get shot down. And there's this great sequence where Lawson shoots out of the back of the lat and gets a shot on the pilot of one of the other ones and causes it to crash into a building. So who knows how much untold
carnage,
like damage he's caused or death from just the collateral damage. Anyway, they crash land and escape into the city. Any other thoughts on this sequence?
Just like I said, very, very cool sequence. And I definitely thought Daki was going to be dead by the end of this, but
no,
he's, proving to be...
How long do you think he's going to live to the end of the season?
Admiral? I don't know. Like, that's one of the things. I don't think so. I have a feeling it's probably just because they've been like playing up how injured he is. I'm like, oh, he's injured. Like, he's going to end up sacrificing himself at some point, which I thought was this scene, but they proved me wrong. They didn't go into that trope just yet. So
also, there's a very soft crash, I will say.
Yeah.
They like... I guess like she's a pretty good natural pilot because she's like flying it's like crashing and she just like
it's like the whole
she like gently places it onto this platform on the side of a building. Really impressive stuff. Anyway, back at Police HQ, we see that there are now walkers on Imperial walkers being deployed.
It's the two-leg ones.
The two-legged ones, they're like proto.
Yeah, they're
ATSTs.
they're not the AT-ATs or whatever. Those have 4 legs, right?
Yeah. The AT-ATs are the big camel ones.
Yeah.
And then the ATSTs are the chicken walkers.
Right, yeah.
But this isn't quite that either. There's another name
smaller.
for it. It's a smaller one. Yeah. We've seen them in Rebels. Droids seem to be getting reprogrammed, it looks like. Some of the cop droids.
Yeah.
Which is bad news for Two Boots. Meanwhile, a cop is talking to Two Boots. And he says he finds the Empire's efficiency to be, quote, commendable.
Yeah.
And that he's happy with the amount of resources, quote unquote.
Yeah, this is what I was thinking of
support that they're sharing.
Ick.
And he's like, I think Captain Lawson will find that he was wrong in the end about the Empire and that he'll be happy that this all came to pass.
That's such like a C-3PO way of thinking.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
It is a classic. That's a 3PO type of joke where it's like, let me set up this concept and then immediately undercut it.
Yeah.
Because he's like, as he's saying that, Captain Lawson is his
wanted.
like mugshot is put up on all the screens. And he's now wanted, and deadly force has been authorized. It's not just he's not just a fugitive and needs to be taken in. It's, hey, go kill your former boss.
Yeah. It's like, oh, actually, you think he's gonna be fine with it? We're gonna try and murder him.
Yeah.
So sorry.
Yeah.
Also, get rid of those boots.
Do you think? Also, get rid of those boots. Those are not standard issue droid. Get rid of them.
It's like,
I feel like it's
boots.
like I feel like this scene could end with deadly force has been authorized. Don't end up like your former boss.
Mm-hmm.
Those boots aren't standard issue. Feels a little bit much. Like,
I don't know. I think they just needed that one more dig to Two Boots personally to be like, we are not like Lawson. You know what I mean? Like that was your buddy. He liked
didn't care about
you guys
your boots.
got along, and it's one more like dig to him. It's like, the knife in his side of just being like, oh, and those fucking boots you like too much, your namesake, get rid of them. Like, it's who you are as a droid.
Yeah, no. I don't. Yeah. So I don't know. For me, it just feels a little. And I see where you're coming from, and sure, and maybe that's like as a droid, it's like maybe he needs that like personal thing to be like, oh, my individual rights. Let's not talk about droid
his
rights.
Buddy being deadly force authorized.
Like that should be enough.
Yeah.
But like, so that's why I feel like this feels like a little bit like from a different show. Like, what are we doing? Like, why is this here? Like, this is not. It doesn't need to be here. If you want to maintain the tone that the show has set up till now. So this is where like now it feels like we're in the Clone Wars again when you got like 3PO jokes coming throwing at us. Okay, back with the fugitives. I'm calling them the fugitives now. We get this cool back alley shot with lots of neon as they dodge a walker patrol. Very cool. Daki acknowledges that with the Empire now knowing that they're Jedi, they won't stop hunting them even if they capture Maul.
Right.
Very astute, Captain Obvious. Lawson has a plan, and he goes back to see his contact / informant. What's her name again? I would love to remember what her name is.
It starts with an R.
Man. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name, but I will say she looks exactly like a purple version of Liara from Mass Effect. And it kind of has a similar vibe. There's this side quest in Mass Effect, I think there's this DLC where she like becomes kind of a bit of like an underworld informant.
Right.
And she looks, again, I can't imagine it's a coincidence how much like Liara she looks like to me. Are you looking up what Google what she looks like?
Sul, S-U-L, Sul.
Yeah.
Sul.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You go find a picture. Find a picture of her.
Yeah.
Because that's what really like it's maybe less as a character to some degree. Yeah, she's kind of this like rough and tumble character with clean cut with like an edge, but
Rena Sewell is her name.
Rena Sewell. Okay. Yeah. So now look up Liara and you'll get a sense of who she looks like. So Rena looks like Liara. Liara. Yeah, from Mass Effect.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Gotcha.
Anyway, so they go to her. I guess she owns a casino. Which, you know what? Bounty hunter to casino owner?
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Tracks.
I guess it's like a little shady.
Yeah,
but
shady
like
business
you need a lot of money to start a casino.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
So Daki acknowledges, as we mentioned before, about the Empire. Lawson has a plan. In her office, she mentions how he brought his kid. This is Rena. And that's how she's kind of her acknowledging that it must be serious. Anyway, they mentioned they need a way off world. She says that there's heat on everyone now. And again, just like everyone says, they can't help. This is the classic Imperial move, which is like put pressure on everyone so that no one feels like they should want to put their neck out for anyone.
Right.
Anyway, Lawson does this move where he touches her shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And like this personal contact tells her that he's desperate.
Right.
And she's like, okay, I'll see what I can do. I think there's this like human connection here that I think is like shown by this just one act of physical contact. That's nice. Yeah.
I feel like there is like a little more between these two.
Yes. As his kid says, he's like, well, they work together as an informant, but I don't know if that's all there was.
Yeah. Because like, it's in that other episode she's in. She's like, oh, I'm free for dinner. Like, I do think there's more than just her being a professional confidential informant with this. But yeah.
Back with Maul, Spybot spots Viper droids. And they already have spotted the Jedi, so they're on their way. But then he has this line which says "trashy droid."
I like that.
Which I mentioned earlier about how I thought that's on the nose. Trashy droid.
Yeah.
Rook seems a bit bitter that Maul would risk himself to quote rescue the girl and the Jedi. But he says that the strongest metal is forged at the Crucible. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to take credit. Screen Crush is the one that called this out, but I do like Maul using like smithing references to talk to a Mandalorian because they would understand that.
Yeah.
She'd only prove her resilience and she will find me her ally. Okay, so what is he saying here, in your opinion? What's like the translation in English, please, as they like to say?
The whole
thing. The strongest metal is forged at the Crucible. She only need prove her resilience and she will find me her ally.
Yeah. I think, what is it, like, basically when things are at their worst, like that's when people like combine and meld together, right? Like it's
I would say that when the pressure is highest, that when the heat is on, both those things apply.
Yeah, that's when
that people either rise to the occasion or are crushed by the pressure.
Yeah, yeah.
And so what he's kind of saying is like, okay, you need that pressure to forge the bond. That he needs to entwine, capture, quote unquote, in a metaphorical sense, Devon, right? So he says she need only prove her resilience, and she will find me her ally. So he's saying that kinship will be forged through him saving her.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's what he's trying to say in so many words. So back with the fugitives, Rylee confirms that she was an informant, obviously. Lawson tells Docky that before she was a cop, he traveled around and worked with her when she was a bounty hunter. So during the Clone Wars, he was kind of like, it's not clear if he was a bounty hunter, but she was. He did some jobs with her.
Yeah.
He references that planet that they barely escaped. In essence, they share a life debt.
Yeah, yeah. They've saved each other's lives. Yeah. They're bonded. It's trauma bond.
Well, and like, they owe each other their lives. Yeah. So it's like, so that means a lot, obviously. So the Empire arrives, and she tries to go to deal with it, but offers her secret elevator for them to use to escape. I like how she tries to be like, yes, I'm the owner of this establishment, and they just ignore her and then try to try to arrest her, and that obviously doesn't work. And then immediately just there goes her whole business.
Yeah.
So that sucks. This is a good example of how like this like persecution of the Jedi is so extreme that just any mere like you just bump into one on the street, and just because you made physical contact with them, your whole life is ruined.
Yeah. Anyone in their path. Yeah. It's, if you even help them slightly, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even by accident. Like, if you knew they were Jedi before they're Jedi, it's like, oh, no, now your life is ruined.
Yeah.
And so that's just that collateral damage just keeps expanding. Like, they just don't care what that you need to destroy or how to destroy. And this is really just a direct through line to Palpatine.
Absolutely.
Anyway, the Empire arrives. Devon and Rylee are sent down first as a pair. Docky and Lawson hold back the troopers at the door. I like how they're like, again, very Jedi clone captain pairing here. In the garage, Rylee and Devon dodge troopers and spot Merrick as they head towards the train station. Back inside, Docky and Lawson head down to find the other two, but before they can, they're engaged with troopers and headed down into a different alley. Now separated from Devon and Rylee, which we'll find is the case still the case at the end of the episode.
Right.
Meanwhile, Spybot, still plugged into the Imperial network, spots Devon and I guess presumably informs Maul about this.
Yeah.
It's not shown, but
that's 100% what he's doing. Yeah, the whole time.
But there's this quip where, again, there's this kind of like, I mentioned the quipping from earlier, but we get this one earlier about how Docky says that Devon is highly trained and he'll protect his son. And he says, you have my word. And he's like, is that supposed to make me feel better?
Yeah.
And that's all happening while they're dodging blaster fire, which, again, it's like in a real world setting. I think if the show was consistent with its tone, they would not have the quipping and this like interaction dialogue. It's snappy, it's fun, it's also cliche.
The banter is very like Anakin, Obi-Wan, Clone Wars coded.
100%.
Like, it's
like this is not
banter during battle. Yeah.
It's not. It just kind of like, I think it saps the stakes a little bit. Some of the tension. It's called bathos. Star Wars movies to some degree, but Marvel movies are particularly bad at cutting tension when it in an inappropriate time to drop the stakes of action sequences by using quips and humor. And so they're using some of this here, and it's not too bad, but I just think if the goal was to maintain that same noir feel, they wouldn't have done that, and this would have come across as a lot darker. This sequence is actually quite dark. They're being chased by the military, essentially.
Yeah.
For their life and ruining people's lives in the meantime. 3 people's lives have been ruined just by interacting with these two Jedi, right? But instead, this otherwise very dark sequence is lightened up by this banter, which I think was probably on purpose. But again, I think it's one of those blind spots of Lucasfilm animation, which is like, no, let the audience sit in the darkness a bit on this.
Yeah. Because it is true. Like, you'd think that kind of the Jedi should know a little bit better by now than to involve regular people.
Well, it's quite early still, I guess. So maybe they haven't really learned this lesson, or at least these two haven't learned it. In the train station, Marok engages Devin. There's this line where Rylee said, like, he's yelling at Rylee, or she is yelling at Rylee to like go on the train. Mm-hmm. And you can really hear the desperation in her voice. Like, she feels like she is on like her back foot.
Yeah,
it's a great voice performance by Gideon Adelon. Anyway, she jumps on the train and is followed by Marok, and then we have a train sequence. They fight along the cars before she's disarmed briefly. She does this cool maneuver where she gets her lightsaber back, but she's on the back foot, and he starts interrogating her. He wants to know where Maul is, but dun dun dun, bum 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 bum, he's already there. So he's like, I'm here to rescue you. Very Batman moment, by the way. This is very Batman coded. So he says this line, Marok does, so it's true you live.
Yeah.
Which I feel like just adds to this Marok mystery, which I think is quite fascinating. Mm-hmm. Who is he? Who was he before he was Marok? Was he always this way?
Right.
When he says this, it was like, I was like, oh, maybe he's some sort of like puppet that is like puppeted by Palpatine from afar, right?
Yeah, right.
This kind of like Force echo type of thing, not quite like what Luke is doing in Last Jedi, but like maybe this kind of like dark magic, dark side thing where he can like pilot this person with his essence or whatever.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. This is my wild theory. Because like the way it kind of comes together later, where he's like calls in stuff, kind of gives me the sense that that's not really what's going on there. So, but this idea that like it's someone who was in the belief that he was dead.
Yeah.
Presumably before he was told about Maul's backstory by Palpatine or Vader or whatever.
Right.
So there's like, I feel like there's some history there. But again, just generally the mystery of who he is or was, I just keeps getting more interesting for me.
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
It's always interesting with the Inquisitors for me because they all did have this life as a Force user before, right? Mm-hmm. So they're all very fascinating. They're very mysterious with like their masks and everything. You don't really know who they are. So I always do appreciate them keeping it a little bit of a mystery for longer on who they were beforehand and what they knew and what they were involved in. So that is like one of the most fun things I find about the Inquisitors. It's like they're not just anybody. They're typically like turned
There's
Jedi.
history.
There's like such a history there. So
which adds a lot of drama. Yeah. We hear another leitmotif from the Anakin Obi-Wan Mustafar duel, which is interesting. I'm like, okay, so what are we trying to reference here? You've got, I guess maybe it's the continued kind of fall to the dark side for Devin, potentially. But also a duel on a kind of a moving platform is maybe what they're looking for. I don't know. Or maybe they just think it's a fun sound to use here. But anyway, there's this whole sequence where they fight together as a team, Devin and Maul.
I like how at first like Marok wasn't necessarily thinking they were going to fight as a team. Then he kind of clocks. He's like, oh, okay, like
right,
yeah.
There's this sequence where Marok throws crates at Rylee, so Devin has to jump in to save him. Again, the classic splitting them up maneuver, right? And then they get enough space to engage their dual-bladed lightsaber. So you get the traditional dual-bladed lightsaber from Maul versus the spinning one from Marok, and it looks pretty cool.
Well, Maul wouldn't necessarily know that they have duels yet. So I do like that's kind of fun when Marok like turns it on and Maul's not necessarily expecting it. And it's kind of like, hey, like, fuck you. That's my move.
That's my move. Yeah, you learned that from me.
That's my thing.
Yeah.
Luckily, he didn't use it as a helicopter and fly away, though.
Correct.
So.
You did not. I will be very surprised if we see that.
No, we won't.
You should have turned that on and just started following them on the...
He did turn it on so it was spinning on its own.
That's true.
At one point, it was spinning on its own.
I was doing the spinning. It was doing the spinning.
Yeah,
that's
but
true.
then like you just see Maul kind of like...
I don't think the spinning itself is necessarily stupid. It's the helicoptering.
It's the helicoptering that's stupid.
Yeah. They always make fun of that on Screen Crush too. It's like, maybe went too far on that one. I would be very surprised if they ever went
I don't
back
think
to
they
that.
ever will. I think that was a mistake. But yeah. It's
Okay.
But I thought this whole train scene was so fun.
Yeah, it's super awesome.
Oh man, it looks so cool. Like everything's moving, the light, the red, the blues.
There's there's this yellow lights that are passing overhead that gives a sense of motion.
Man, I love this. I was like, this is so fun.
Again, I always love a train sequence.
Yeah. Fighting on top of train, it's very Western also.
Yes.
But...
Also, it makes me think of Uncharted 2. Great train sequence in Uncharted 2 that you get to fight on. Anyway, they fight, and then before they can continue their fight, Devin cuts the train, separating them, and then they get away. And then Devin turns her lightsaber on Maul, but Maul turns his off and kind of just stares at her, and she's like, okay, well, if you're not going to fight me, then I'm going to put mine away.
Yeah.
Only for Maul to say, this is such a funny line to end this sequence on. Now that you've seen the face of your true enemy, ... Yeah. And then we get this weird shot of his head, and it's like the lights go overhead.
Cool. That was such a cool shot.
Yeah, I don't know. I
loved it.
I feel like it's very trippy and like
it was very trippy.
If you have epilepsy, you should be careful about that.
That was, I don't know. That was a really cool shot.
It is cool.
That's badass looking.
And then we get a wipe, a classic Star Wars wipe to Marok on the Star Destroyer. He's calling somebody, classic bad guy calling somebody, a mystery, they're in a hood, something. My lord, I can confirm the presence of Maul. He's more dangerous than we suspected. It seems he's in league with 2 Jedi. How shall I proceed? So, who's he talking to?
I don't think he's talking to the Emperor, because I don't think the Inquisitors...
But don't you think that the Emperor would be more interested if there was Maul?
It's true. It's just, in terms of the Inquisitors, they were like Vader's. Like,
it's his responsibility.
In like the hierarchy of who can talk to who.
Yes.
I don't think the Inquisitors can just directly talk to Palpatine. I'm pretty sure.
Again, unless we're talking about he's the first brother, right?
Yeah,
so he's the first
true.
of them. He was recruited first, potentially, maybe directly by Palpatine.
Yeah. Because I assumed it was either Vader or Grand Inquisitor, but then in the thing there, it said that it's not the Grand Inquisitor. So
it's a thing is, so it's not
be.
Vader's helmet, because it's not, the angles aren't sharp enough.
It looked like it was just the bottom of it.
So it's either that, so it's either his cape, or it's the Emperor's hood, or his robes. I guess there is another possibility that it's the sixth brother, the guy with the
bird face?
The bird face guy. I think he's supposed to show up in this.
I don't. That's true. It's also because he says brother, "my lord," but that's why weird. I think it's like I would think it's Lord Vader.
Yeah, so there's two, because I mean, you could say my emperor, right? But I feel like my lord could apply to both.
It could be Vader or Emperor. Yeah.
So to my money it's on. I feel like it makes more sense for it to be the Emperor.
Yeah,
but wanting it to be Vader also makes sense. My lead towards the Emperor, because if it is the Emperor, he can still send Vader. So
yeah, that's true. I just assumed in the hierarchy of who can talk to who, it would be Vader first.
Sure, that's fair.
But yeah, you're right. I don't know.
What's Vader doing right now?
This is what he's doing right now.
Okay, so
this is 100%.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, I mean, I guess
is hunting Jedi.
I feel like we're led to believe that it's one of those two, but then I feel like they're going to do a pivot and it'll be something not as cool. Anyway, that's where we leave off. That's it. Cut to credits. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I really liked.
It was fun.
So good. It's just so action packed and like. Yeah, it just had so much.
It just feels very important. Everything feels very important now.
Yeah, and like I said, like it's nice to have stakes where I'm like actually worried. I'm like, oh man, is Daki gonna die here? Like I was like, I'm really starting to like him, and you know, all the characters kind of coming around now is you're feeling for them a little bit more. So it's
Yeah, like we're in the right. This marks the halfway point where things are action is high. We're in the second act of the 3-act structure of the season.
Yeah.
Which means that next week will probably crescendo. Like if Docky's gonna die, it's gonna be next week.
Yeah,
I think.
Well, we're gonna get some other big bad. Either, like we said, it's either Vader or we'll probably see actually Sixth Brother next week because we haven't seen him yet.
Need some backup first and then Vader.
Yeah, maybe.
Right.
Maybe that's where Call to Oblivion. Maybe that's one of them getting called in, or
I don't know.
But yeah, it's really fun show so far.
Good show so far.
Inquisitors are just man, they're fun. They're cool characters. It's all kinds of cool characters that I really like seeing.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, these
gritty underworld stuff. It's great.
This is an amalgamation of some of the cooler things from the show so far.
Yeah.
My only gripe is that, again, like I think there was a tonal shift here that I don't think necessarily serves the show, but that's a minor nit.
And a couple things too on the nose, but
yeah, I just again the two boots thing is like that's not needed. But that's just more of a reflection of what I just said before about the tonal shift that feels a little bit.
Yeah.
Like they weren't ready to commit to what they had originally envisioned for the show. Okay. Next week, Chapter 7, Call to Oblivion, Chapter 8, The Creeping Fear. We'll be back either Tuesday or Wednesday. Again, I don't know yet. But stay tuned to the feed and you'll get it when it posts. Again, either Wednesday or Thursday when we do the post the podcast. But feel free to send us any thoughts, comments, concerns you might have to our email address, towerofbabblepodcast@gmail.com. Join the Patreon. Send us a message there. You can send us messages on Discord if you're in the Patreon as well. Shoot me a message on Blue Sky. Whatever we're on Blue Sky as well. Whatever's the easiest for you. And we'll be back next week. And may the Force be with you.